Everything paranormal. Welcome to my hood. There ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to ride, step into the buckle up. I'ma show you where it's at. We gon' burn a couple blunts, we gon' pop a couple caps. I ain't talking about 4-5s from the strap. Psilocybin driving, so we headed off the map. What you know about? Taste of color, seeing sound with a crystallize. Turning nothing into something when we alchemize. Vandalize the lies with the truth. Ain't nobody wanna take shots of this proof. All we ever wanted was the answers. Looking for unique, but our vision keep us phantom. Phantom black man, ghost writing in a pentagram. I'm from the place where our thoughts meet the program. Not too many open to the power that they hold. Just know that when we shine, it's the reflection of your soul. Supreme beings moving, watch the galaxy implode. We are not alone. If you're not normal, welcome home. Yeah. Welcome to my hood. There ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to rise, step into the I gotta hold on to this feeling. I'll be seeing visions through the folds of the prism. Projecting all wishes, anything I want is given. Paranormal vision, you can call it supervision. Control the superstition, make them wonder how we do it. They seen us in the mud, now we out here making music with the paranormal movement that's stronger than what you deal with. If Jesus was just a fraud, then hallelujah for Judas. Caesar is not the mob, so it just had to be Brutus. They hate when we on our job, cause persecution is useless. Proof that what we doing is more than just making music. Utilizing the truth, drop it off in the hood. Show 'em what's really good, the feeling is understood. We know just what it means to get it by all means. Supreme beings moving, watch reality explode. We are not alone, if you're not normal, welcome home. Yeah. Welcome to my hood. There ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to rise, step into the portal. Welcome to my hood. There ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to
We're coming, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming. This is what we call CPT. I had to hip Natasha to what CPT is. Anybody in the chat know what CPT is? I'm just going to let the people in the chat tell me if they know what CPT is. If not, I'll tell you. See, what happens is the evil cabal knows that we're going to be talking some serious stuff up in here. So they're trying to shut the man down. They're trying to keep us down, man. You see what happens? Natasha, you see Jet saying hello.
Yes, I'm writing in there.
You're in the chat. Okay,
I'm in
cool.
there, yeah. Are we live on the air?
Well, they can hear us.
Oh, they can. Okay.
So don't say anything bad about anybody, okay? Because they'll hear you.
Did I tell you guys about the porn that I have of Jet Petty?
Is that what you were showing me in the car earlier?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's insane. Wow.
Is that disgusting or what? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm kind of turned on by it, but at the same time, repulsed.
Well, and then the slime and I was looking, and the angle of the camera was weird too. That's what kind of threw me off.
I know, it totally weird.
All right, we ready? All right, let's do this right. That's our theme music, folks. You know, every good hero should have theme music.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
All right, we're going to try this again. What's Hood Hoodies? Welcome to another Thursday night. This is Paranormal Hood Live Radio. We're live and direct in the Garden of Knowledge studios, and I am your host, Jiggy.
I'm Smoke King.
And tonight, as you see on camera, I already have all your fans in there and shit in the chat room. And they don't come here for us. They came here for you. We have a very, very special guest, so I've been looking forward to joining us here in the studio, Miss Natasha NYXX of Mysterious Forces Live. Tosh!
Hello. Thank you so
Welcome.
much. I am so glad to be here. Thank you, Smoke King. Thank you, Jiggy. And it's an honor to be here. I love your show. And if you're one of my peeps and you're here because of me, like and subscribe. Thank you.
Please do. You know what I'm saying? It's all pretty much almost the same conversations. Although Natasha, we'll talk a little bit later about everything because you do everything on your show. We kind of do too, but we'll talk about that stuff and everything. We'll get into it. But it's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I'm glad. It's your first time in Boston, right?
It is. I've never been here before.
So by the time you leave, have you had Dunks before anywhere in
Dunkin'
the United
Donuts?
States? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We've got it in Phoenix.
Okay, they don't have it in Cali. I freaked out in Cali.
Right, yeah.
Like, because the coffee there is disgusting. Like, it's all bougie and shit, which is great if you're a Starbucks lover or whatever. And I'm not saying Dunks has the best fucking coffee in the world, because they far from have the best coffee. But if you're used to it, you're just kind of used to it.
Oh, yeah.
And America runs on Dunkins. We definitely run right here. And I was in Cali. I looked at the GPS, and that shit was like, the nearest Dunkin' was like 1,000 miles away or some shit.
Indian Wells is, it's a lot of resorts. There aren't a lot of places to get anything there.
Yeah, it definitely was that. Well, we traveled a little bit to find stuff and everything, to drive and everything, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, there was definitely no Dunks. In fact, somebody told me a story that there's a place somewhere, I think it's Arizona, or it might be right in the beginning of California somewhere, where there's a Dunkin' Donuts where people literally line miles of vehicles to stop to get their Dunks before they reach their destination, because they know there's not going to be one anywhere by them, which I find to be insane.
Yeah. No, it's things are a little different in California. You know, in the sense of out west, it's Carl's Jr., but back east, it's Hardee's.
Shout out to Carl's Jr. They have the Beyond Burger.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I was so happy at Conscious Life Expo because I was starving.
Yeah.
And I wanted something different because I actually had an allergic reaction to something in some of the vegan food I ate. There's some ingredient, I don't know what it was, that I'm allergic to. It made me sick, so I had to eat. I went to get French fries, and I walked in and I saw Beyond Burger, and it was like, oh. It was hold on, let me do this right. It was, hold on, I got the wrong thing here. But I walked in there, and I was so happy. That's what it felt like.
I suddenly feel very sophisticated.
That's what I felt like eating a Carl's Jr. burger. But it's cool, you know, to have that experience I haven't had in so long, to be able to go there and have it. Yeah. Excuse me.
This is what they call the Boston Blunt right here.
Those are Fronto. I don't think. Have you ever smoked a Fronto before? What kind of shit is that? What kind of one-hitter quitter did you just do?
Oh.
You told you getting baptized by fire here, baby. You better get ready. We smoke around here, so you better get ready to get nice and fucking high. There you go. There you go. Yes. There you go, crowd. See, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I asked anybody in the chat earlier, I didn't see if anybody answered it. Anybody knows what CPT is? Just curious if anybody actually knows. CPT. Natasha has learned something new here in Boston, too. And by the time she leaves here, she's going to be saying Boston. She'll know, and she'll be smart enough not to say to park your car in Harvard Yard, because nobody fucking parks their car in Harvard Yard except for the fucking Harvard police. And if you want to fucking get arrested, then go try to park your fucking car in fucking Harvard Yard and see what happens to you, okay?
Well, food truck.
Oh, yeah, food trucks. Now, yeah, they got the but those aren't cars, those are trucks. Park your truck doesn't sound as good as park your car. But anyways, yes. So, folks.
You've never been able to park a car in Harvard Yard, ever.
No, you could park horses and carriages back in the day. Buggies, yeah, you could do that. That's what it was built
never
for,
Never been able to fucking park a car in Harvard Yard.
So whoever said that, go fuck yourself. You're fucking absolutely wrong. You don't know anything about our fucking culture, okay? Don't make up shit to fucking soothe yourself. All right, but anyways, folks, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to have a cool conversation with Tosh. We'll kick it for a couple hours and just talk all things paranormal. Any questions, comments, whatever. She's actually in the chat with you, too, but when she's speaking to us, she can't see. But we'll try to take any questions or comments and go along with the show as it goes on, okay? All right.
Absolutely. I am keeping an eye on the chat room. I am active and interacting.
So feel free to holler in the chat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is explain the show for anybody if it's your first time. If it's your first time here in Paranormal Hood, let me tell you how we get down. We spend our time here in the studio. Hold on, I need some good music. I'm all about the music, so you have to have this suspenseful kind of music. Does this one work? Here we go. We spend our time here in the Garden of Knowledge studios. What are we doing? Watching YouTube, watching the news, on the internet, reading books, newspapers, looking for any source that has that weird, that strange, that odd, that different, that not necessarily mainstream paranormal news. Now that news could be here on Earth, and yeah, I said Earth, motherfuckers. ERF, deal with it. Or it could be up to the moon, which you can't see right now, where I say Michael Jackson resides, and he's about to perform and do his nightly performance for intergalactic crowd.
That's it. Show's over.
Or maybe it's up to Mars, the supposed red planet. Or maybe it's somewhere beyond, some place we haven't seen, something that's out there that has not made news yet. But if it's out there and we find it, we simply bring it to you on this segment of the show we call Smoke King's Paranormal News. But since Smoke King's a little busy over there, he's rolling right now, I'm going to kick it off. You know what? Fuck it. You want to read a story?
I'll read a story.
Here, Tosh. Have at it. We're going to let our guest read the first news story of the evening. Why not, right? Let's do something a little different here.
Let me know. Should I say where this is off of, or you just want me to read the story?
Nope, just read the story. Fuck them.
All right.
It ain't their news anyways. It's
Hey,
fucking...
hey, baby, it's your show. I'll roll your way. The headline is Missouri man owns haunted jukebox? Question mark.
Uh-oh.
And exactly. A Missouri man who collects various pieces of Americana picked up an eerie jukebox that might be haunted. Richard Loban reportedly purchased the 1954 record player last year and noticed something weird about the classic piece almost immediately, as it randomly ejected some records after he plugged it in for the first time. As an electrical technician by trade and skeptic of the supernatural, the collector's first thought was not that the machine was possessed, but that it simply had a broken part. Not a broken heart, a broken part. He was correct in that regard and fixed the issue, but it turns out that the tale of the strange jukebox had only just begun. According to Loban, he had been told by the previous owner of the jukebox that it had been featured on an old TV show, but he never learned what specific program.
Happy Days.
Upon receiving the machine, which was full of records, he proceeded to fill out the rest of the empty slots with his favorite songs, including the 1972 Jerry Wallace tune, If You'll Leave Me Tonight, I Will Cry.
You are a huge nerd.
He subsequently did some research into the question of the jukebox's brief star turn on television and determined that it probably appeared in an episode of the Rod Serling-helmed Night Gallery.
Oh, wow.
That's right, and that was after Twilight Zone.
That was my shit, too.
Yeah, Night Gallery is badass.
Yeah, you got to be old enough to know about Night Gallery.
No
You
shit.
kids don't know nothing about Night Gallery, you little young fuckers.
Absolutely. So upon sitting down and watching this particular show, which featured his newly acquired piece, Loban was absolutely astounded by what he saw. It turned out that the plot of the vignette centered around a seemingly possessed jukebox that plays only one song, which haunts the main character due to his failing marriage. If you leave me tonight, I will cry. Interesting. Adding another astounding twist to the tale is that in both the program and in real life, the song is selection number G5, which is something that Loban had no idea about when he loaded the record into the jukebox. I was floored when I saw that, he marveled. I got shivers. Now, I don't know. Was it cold out? Was his nipples hard? Beyond that truly baffling bit of synchronicity, Loban says that the jukebox sometimes starts on its own, and he went so far as to replace the electronic workings of the device in order to fix it, but the problem puzzlingly persists. And if you think it's easy to say puzzlingly persists, guess again.
Say it 10 times fast.
Puzzling persists.
No, don't think it. Don't use your fingers.
don't-
That's cheating. That's cheating.
I can't do it. Additionally, the machine only plays 3 songs, and one of them is, you guessed it, If You Leave Me Tonight, I Will Cry. Although his friends have suggested that there is something paranormal afoot with the jukebox, Loban concedes that, I don't necessarily believe in that sort of thing. That said, he concedes that he has no explanation for the machine's odd quirks, nor its mystifying connection to the song featured in Night Gallery.
Thank you very much. Very well done. Give her a round of applause. I was thinking it's from Happy Days, though. Remember that? Isn't that how Happy Days started? Wasn't it the jukebox?
Yeah, it's on the intro. It's
right,
on
the very intro,
yeah.
exactly. So I'm not crazy. See, I was hoping
the actual song. It is the jukebox. The record goes down, it plays, and that is the theme song to Happy Days.
I am right. Okay, see, my brain, it's okay. It still works. I think that's awesome. Although, see, too, maybe the person who owned the jukebox previously programmed it to do that or whatever. I don't know. This person said they were an electrician. You figure they would have taken it apart and tried to find out some information. All right, let's get to the next story, folks. Red rectangle in space vexes scientists. Bum, bum, bum. NASA has released a new image of a notorious object in space known as the red rectangle that has proven to be a puzzle to astronomers for decades. Discovered in 1973, the enigmatic nebula earned its name due to its color and shape, which defied explanation by scientists. A cloud of gas and dust orbiting a dying star, the red rectangle was partially deciphered in 2007 when researchers determined that the chemical process that caused its colors. The reason for the remarkably structured shape has remained elusive, although the new Hubble image provides previously unseen details of the nebula, which may help solve the mystery. Most notably, the space agency says, is the now clear indication that the cloud has taken on an X shape that rather than the rectangular illusion which originally spawned the object's name. They attribute the nebula's symmetric shape to waves of debris coming from its central star that collect in waves throughout the cloud. Undoubtedly, additionally, insight into the famed rectangle will likely be forthcoming once experts can examine the data gleaned from the Hubble release. Have you seen this? It's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty. Have you seen it?
No.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, wow.
It's aliens. It looks like, you know what it really looks like? When you see a moth in a camera, like when it's flying by and people try to say it's an orb or whatever, but you actually can see that's what the detail kind of looks like. It looks like a flying moth in space. Maybe it's Mothra.
It could be. Oh, absolutely.
It's a promotion because they're making the Godzilla movie.
Shit. Mothra's coming back, everybody. Look out, man. Not only are we going to worry about Nibiru, we got to look out for Mothra's coming back.
Mothra.
Maybe Mothra's from Nibiru.
Oh, man. Damn.
You mean Mothra's Anunnaki?
Just blew my mind.
Mind blown.
All right, let's go on to another story here. New UFO reporting guidelines being developed by the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
okay.
I was really excited by that. I saw that yesterday. I was like, oh, my God. I was in the airport.
I'm not.
Okay. Go ahead.
We know. Okay.
I'm not, because
we'll
all
talk,
these people out there don't. We'll read the story.
Read the story.
Just
We
read the
can
story, and
elaborate
then
on
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
In a rather remarkable development, the United States Navy is updating the reporting protocol for pilots and other witnesses who encounter UFOs. The intriguing procedural change was revealed in a story broken by Politico on Wednesday evening. In a statement to the website, the Navy indicated that they have received a number of reports of unauthorized and/or unidentified aircraft entering various military-controlled ranges and designated airspace in recent years. Noting that they already investigate each and every, and they put that in quotes so you know, each and every incident in light of safety and security concerns, the Navy explained that they are updating and formalizing the process for pilots and other personnel to report suspected incursions by unidentified craft. It is uncertain what these new guidelines will consist of, but the statement said that the Navy is currently drafting a new message to the fleet that will detail the steps for reporting. As one can imagine, the news is being seen by UFO enthusiasts and disclosure advocates as a significant turn of events in the Navy, in that the Navy is openly acknowledging that they have received reports of unidentified craft. They also appear to be encouraging pilots and other witnesses to officially share their accounts of encountering these mysterious intruders rather than keep quiet about what they saw for fear of damaging their reputation or career. Whether that proves to be the case, of course, remains to be seen, but it should hopefully lead to more reports of strange and unusual crafts in our skies. Undoubtedly, telling pilots and other witnesses that they can and should report what they see is a positive policy change. However, and at the risk of putting the proverbial cart before the horse, it raises the question of where exactly these reports will go and who precisely will be tasked with studying them. Considering that the Navy said that they have already received and investigated such accounts in recent years, and we've yet to learn about such cases. Yeah, you have. They released those fucking videos. Duh. The prospect of the information being made public seems unlikely, regardless of the method in which witnesses report what they saw. But be that as it may, the Navy also shared another tantalizing revelation which suggests that interest in the UFO phenomenon is percolating in Washington. According to their statement, some members of Congress and their prospective staffs received a series of briefings by senior naval intelligence officials concerning the subject after they had requested more information. Both the change in reporting protocol as well as the curiosity from Congress were foreshadowed back in January by retired Senator Harry Reid, who lamented at the time that pilots were discouraged from reporting their UFO encounters and promised that he'd be speaking with lawmakers about the issue.
Good old Harry Reid.
Uh-huh.
Those reports are going to a warehouse in Vegas that Robert Bigelow has.
No, they'll release some of them.
They'll release
but
some
their
of
whole
them. Here's the whole thing with it. The Air Force is sick and tired of showing up and for a drone and stuff like that. That's what they're not talking about alien UFOs and stuff like that. And a lot of it's not going to come out because it's going to be national security, and it's not alien national security. It's because it was a Russian fucking drone flying over, or a fucking German
Chinese
fucking
drone, or
Chinese
whatever.
fucking plane, or a new Chinese fucking craft, or something like that, or Korean, or something like that, flying the fuck over. There's people, okay, you just go on YouTube and you can search. There's people that have tried and fly drones over federal buildings and shit like that, and bases and stuff like that all the time. And the Air Force is getting the calls for these things, and they're sick of it. And everybody's jumping on aliens. UFO does not mean alien. There's no alien attached to that word at all. It just means unidentified flying object. That's it.
And
And
just
there's a
because
lot
they
of
don't know
those.
what it is doesn't mean that they're supposed to know what it is. And if the whole thing too is if you go back and listen to those 2 disclosure tapes that they have, you literally hear the pilots say to each other, "Oh, wait a minute, is that a blah blah blah?" And the other pilot says, "Well, no, I don't think it is." So clearly that they also know that they're testing shit that these pilots may have not have seen yet, and they've seen some stuff, but they don't know everything that's being tested. You have civilian contractors right now working on stuff. You have all kinds of just some fucking kid who's got a drone for Christmas, who's smart as fuck, who's taking his drone and super hyper
Christmas.
making it.
He just fucking built his own drone and
put some cool ass bright ass LEDs and all kinds of shit, and it's able to zoom and do all. Just go watch the fucking drone races they have on television right now. You can do insane stuff with drones.
You can do with drones. Like, just look at the drone fireworks show, they call it. It's fucking Disney and stuff like that. Where do you think they tested that? They had to test that somewhere, and I bet you there's video
DARPA.
out there of that shit being tested, and then somewhere on YouTube, somebody's calling that a fucking UFO. Aliens,
Tyler,
proof of
Security
aliens
Team
and
10.
shit like that.
Hi guys, welcome to Security Team 10.
Just think about this. All the drones that are out there, you can get drones at the dollar store, okay? Now. Okay,
can?
that's now. Now,
Is it a
5
dollar?
years,
Wait,
five
is it a
years
dollar for
ago,
a dollar store drone?
5 years ago,
I
you
want a
couldn't
dollar store
get
drone.
drones. Pretty much, they were like very rare. Military had them. Few people had them and stuff. Before that, nobody had them, but people were seeing them because people were building them and testing them. It's taken years and years to develop this technology and to get it out there. So they've been up there for a long time, and people are still. Every time you blink now, there's a new fucking drone out there. Somebody's out there testing that shit. Somebody's trying to get that shit right. They got to go out. They got to fly it around, and people are going to see it. And even after that shit comes out, people are going to still see it buzzing through the fucking air when their neighbors got it and stuff. Be like, it's a fucking UFO. Oh, my God, there's aliens.
Hello, police.
And so everybody's jumping on this Navy thing and saying that the Navy's, that's it right there. They got a disclosure. They know that it's UFOs. No, they know that there's a lot of fucking other military
Could somebody send me a dollar
in the
store
world
drone?
and stuff that are testing things and trying
Anybody?
to figure shit out.
I'll take a dollar store
And,
drone.
you know, then you got all these private companies that are building drones and aircrafts and trying to fucking fly into space and shit. You got your Elon Musks and your Richard Bransons and your fucking Jeff Bezoses and shit that are fucking out there. Who
And then
the
you got
fuck-
that guy in Phoenix.
Who the fuck
Isn't he in
knows
Arizona,
what
the guy
they-
who tried to prove the flat Earth and build the rocket, or is he in New
Oh,
Mexico?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
in Arizona, isn't he?
So you got all of this shit out there just flying around up there and shit. And
Gonna
everybody's
build
like,
a
oh, it's
rocket.
aliens.
Rocket Man.
Do you guys think that we're being visited by aliens at
Oh,
all?
well, we'll talk about that later. Let's
Okay.
finish the
We can
news.
get
Oh,
that.
wow.
We
We're
can
gonna
get
have
into
fun. We'll have fun about everything tonight. We'll have fun. That's what we talk
I'll
about.
fucking open
So that's
Pandora's
the thing with
box
this.
on
And
that
as
one.
soon as I heard that, I'm like, yep, here it goes. Everybody's gonna be fucking. That's it. The fucking aliens. Aliens are here. The aliens are everywhere. That's
The
it.
Navy said it.
The Navy said
They ain't
it.
got
The
one
Air
report
Force, they
yet,
said
but
it,
they're already
did it,
telling you
they
what the
did it,
reports are gonna say.
No, they're
Q's
just-
gonna be
they're
posted
just
about it.
saying that they get a lot of reports for unidentified flying objects. So now there's going to be some more stricter guidelines because they're sick of going out there for every dollar store drone.
Right.
Basically.
They're gonna be like, call us for some real shit.
All right, let's do another story before we take a quick break.
You got it?
All right, yeah. You want to do one? You got
There
to
you go. I got some, but
All
you
right,
can
I'll
go.
do one if you want to throw one in before we take a break. All right, here we go. Study suggests dinomania spawned Nessie-like sea monster sightings. Uh-oh. A fascinating new study suggests the reports of Nessie-like sea monsters can be traced back to the public's fascination with dinosaurs, which exploded when fossils of the ancient creatures were first discovered. Charles Paxson and Darren Nice reportedly collected over 1,500 accounts of mysterious aquatic beasts dating all the way back to 1801 and subjected to the data a statistical study in search of possible trends over time. What the researchers found was a distinct uptick in the number of long-necked plesiosaurus-like creatures, which began at around the same period in the 19th century when dinosaur fossils were first being found. Incredibly, their paper observes as our understanding of aquatic dinosaurs grew, so too did the frequency of contemporaneous reports featuring the fantastic beasts, increasing from around 10% in the early 1800s to nearly half of such sightings taking place in the 1930s. This dinomania, as the researchers call it, appears to have had an influence on the creation of the infamous 1934 hoax image of the Loch Ness Monster, known as the Surgeon's Photo, which depicted the legendary creature as a remnant plesiosaur. In turn, the frenzy surrounding the story seemingly solidified the transition in perception of sea monsters from serpent to aquatic dinosaur. Although the study doesn't necessarily debunk the existence of unidentified sea creatures lurking in various bodies of water around the world, it does posit that witnesses' interpretation of what they are seeing appears to be as much, if not more, influenced by the zeitgeist than the actual event unfolding before their eyes. It also provides something of an explanation for where the largely implausible idea that sea monsters are remnant dinosaurs came from in the first place. To that end, one wonders if such an examination of ever-changing shape of UFOs reported by witnesses would result in similar societal connections as well. In other words, not just seeing plesiosaurs, they're going to start seeing triceratops, mastodons maybe, or megs, all that shit. Good luck, I guess. It makes sense, though.
Do you know that
the root of stuff that people are now all mania about, cryptozoology, and a lot of it has roots in bullshit.
Yeah, there was heavy interest in dinosaurs living on the continent of Africa around the turn of the last century. There were a lot of reports of things like that.
Anything's possible. We've always said that. Anything's possible. Maybe Nessie does exist. The loch is deep. The idea that there's some creature that can live at the bottom of the loch somewhere, caves, whatever.
Nessie don't exist. An animal that size would eat everything in that loch and have nothing left to eat.
Maybe it's a vegetarian.
Maybe it would eat all the plant life. The size.
Maybe
that they
it eats
say
everything
is,
in the cave
and
it comes
supposedly
from.
It has babies and there's a family and stuff.
But maybe it's got to live somewhere.
But they say
Maybe they live in
even
a
if it's
cave.
just one that size, it would eat up all the food. It wouldn't be able to
Hello,
replenish the
but
food.
Nessie
before
probably
it could do
comes up and knows that our water's polluted, and then goes further down where there's the good shit. See, Nessie's smart like us. Don't eat that shit up top. Eat the shit at the bottom.
He would eat. Nessie would literally.
How do you know what
the
Nessie would eat?
Entire loch.
How do you know? We don't know what Nessie would eat.
Because they know just by the size of an animal whether it eats the plants or.
But we don't know how
fish,
big Nessie really is. If
would
Nessie
eat-
even is.
Just going by estimates.
Don't
of what
spoil
they say
Nessie.
and shit,
Don't
so.
ruin Nessie for me.
Don't
ruin Nessie.
Sorry, I'm not trying to ruin and spoil your little fantasy world over there, but we deal with truths and facts and reality here, and things that we can prove and everything like that. So
CW. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
CW's in his house.
I'm gonna do my CW gang sign.
Oh man, maybe 10 years ago it would have.
We're smoking the tobacco over here, CW.
It would have been
This is the good tobacco. We got this. This is the good tobacco. We don't.
smoke.
This is good tobacco over here, CW. I'm over here smoking. All right.
Hey, if anyone
No
says
DMT
anything
tonight.
about it, I know who I want my defense attorney to be. CW fucking Chanter.
I want mine to be Johnny Cochran.
He's dead.
I
That would be impressive.
I proved it was ghost,
Impressive
wouldn't I?
as
Right?
fuck.
There you fucking go. See, I think ahead. See, I'm thinking. All right, folks. Though we're all done with the news. We're gonna take a quick break. Don't go
we're
anywhere.
not done with the news
Oh,
yet.
we got another story. Oh, we got another
told you, I
story.
got a story.
We
I let
started
you
late
read
tonight,
nasty.
folks. We had some technical difficulties, so just fucking roll with us, please. All right, we love y'all. Y'all love us. Peace
I'll
and
only
love.
take like a 5-minute break. All right, ready? Here we go.
Smoking these good
This
old
is a good
tobacco
one.
over here.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to CW Chanter.
It's gonna get an
CW.
award right here. Reality TV star claims she had sex with a ghost.
You're an idiot.
I felt things I couldn't explain.
Let me tell you something.
Hey
it's
now.
it's insulting to be called a ghost. I have a problem that she said this about me, and I'm telling you, this is bullshit. It's a fucking lie, and never mind.
All right.
What?
Reality TV star has shared a very creepy sex confession, claiming to have been penetrated by a ghost. Yeah, penetrated by a ghost.
Me so horny,
What is
me
the
love
ghost
you long
exactly
time.
penetrating her with?
All right. Hey now.
How is that possible? It's a ghost. It walks through walls. Isn't it gonna go through her? Anyway, Vanderpump Rules star Billy Lee, who acts a Sir restaurant server, I think it's supposed to, I don't know, confessed she had a paranormal sexual experience. Speaking on Roz DeFrezel's Ghosted podcast, the actress and said the encounter happened in a Victorian house in Indiana. She said, I fell asleep on the couch. And I woke up too, and I think it was weird because I was kind of in my dream, but I woke up to a ghost fucking me. And I had a wet dream. Now, yeah, you just had a wet dream. There was no ghost there. It's just a wet dream. But anyway, but the reality star who admitted she had smoked some cannabis that night.
Don't blame
Some
it on the
DMTV,
weed. Do not blame that shit on the
Some
weed.
DMT, maybe some fucking mushrooms.
That
I don't
bitch
know.
did some
what the
meth or
fuck
some
what
shit.
the
She might have
fuck
been on
she's
some meth, some fentanyl or something, maybe some crack, some cocaine, but she wasn't on no weed. I done fucked some
said
great on some
that
weed, but I ain't never got no ghost fucking.
Not
Ghost
fentanyl.
sex continued even while she was wide awake. And it was so real, she says. And even when I woke up, it was continuing. So it was like this in and out of sleep, but like it was this energy, and I knew it was like totally like I knew it was a ghost.
In and
I
out.
couldn't like see him, but the energy, like vibrations of a ghost was yeah, fucking me.
Dude, you totally need to do her accent better, okay? Like, seriously, okay?
I'm trying not to shoot myself for even doing that little bit of the accent.
Hey, I got away with the African accent. You can do that accent.
It was so weird, the star said. I remember it was the next day. I told my friends, like, was there something in our weed that we smoked? And they were like, no. I said, I think the ghost that had been in this place fucked me last night. And they're like, okay, whatever.
I'm sorry. Does not
The
compute.
transgender actor had not transitioned at the time of the encounter, and she said she often had wet dreams. It was different than any other wet dream because I could not see this person. She recalled this person was a ghost. It was an energy. I felt the touch on my body. I felt the penetration. I felt things I couldn't explain.
I love it when you say
It was
that.
really weird and like really totally creepy. And I felt like I was being seduced by the ghost, but like it felt good. And that's the end of the story. Now, that story.
Yeah,
I mean,
that story topped all of the other ones.
Yeah.
Topped all of the other ones.
Not bottomed?
It did not bottom the other ones. No,
Okay.
that.
We don't know which way she got down. Clearly, she got down with the ghost, though. All right,
That's
folks.
hilarious.
We're going to take a quick break. We're not going to go too far. Don't go too far. Just play a little music. Tasha will be in the chat. Anybody have any questions? We'll actually monitor the chat a little bit, too. Any questions, comments, concerns. We're going to come back. We're going to talk all things paranormal tonight. Obviously, some of the stuff we already talked about. The news is going to be on the table. It's going to have some fun. Our brand of paranormal talk. So don't go too far. It's Paranormal Hood. We'll be black. Did I say black? I meant back.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta scream it like alert, alert, spoil alert. Another track with another verse. Coming from the netherworld, got this body on a tether cord. Portal on my back like a ninja sword. We at war, but the fog don't show what the conscious knows, so that I can't see where the mind won't go. Love is the absence of fear, befriended the demons, so angels stay near. Angles appear, shapes create prisms, and prisons of mirrors. Clash with the gods with this pen as a spear. Been through the hell without showing the fear. We implode what you holding so dear. Explosion is flow to your ears. Fractals on fractals of focus so clear. Dying so well that my living is weird. But you feeling this weird. But you feeling this here. Cause the truth is the truth, nigga. No matter what you call fact. And the fact of the matter is, I'm served top mad on these tracks. Controlling the frequency as I vibrate so geniusly. It's just the free in me. Or maybe these shrooms gave birth to my truth through this womb. That's why I be getting high in my London fog. Popping shrooms, rolling lie in my London fog. That's why I be getting high in my London fog. My London fog. Fucking London fog.
But it appears that the ancients were interested in the study of how to discriminate and discern which were the good angles coming in and which were the bad angles. In astrology, in astrology they're angles or angels, and the language of angels is astrology.
Yo, everything came from black, so we can put a halt to the races. The issue is awakening the mass population for removal of the faces. See, what you seeing is a matrix, so what you seeing is a womb with a full spectrum, bringing life when the ray hit. I can hear it like I'm hearing what my name is. I can feel it even running through my veins in. They made a maze for amazement. I took a prison and I turned it to a playpen. I am Christ in the flesh, fire in a fire-based body, pouring water on the earth when I air. It's all inside of me, what shall I ever compare? It's all surrounding me, what shall I ever draw near? They want me drowning, but fire and water put me in the air. All in that ether it gather as soon as I think and imagine it. They want me dead when I spit on this bitch, niggas rise up like Lazarus. That's fucking supreme, I'm programming dream while they talking that fabric. I will call audacious, revealing the faces on all of your savages. That's why I be getting high in my London fog. Popping shrooms, rolling lie in my London fog. That's why I be getting high in my London fog. Yeah, my London fog. Yeah, fucking London fog.
If you do the discipline to get your aura into a geometry where the pine cones can kiss, which means you need to avoid electrosmog. Basically, the electrical definition of sacred space is the only place where your aura can unpack. And it's correct to call that the awakening, because it's literally the further and further propagation of your field according to the laws of phase conjugation.
Rocker, don't roll with imposter. I hang with them rosters, them gangsters and mobsters, rude boys and shotters, them lyric flow proper, that K-Lu-B knocker, bass shakes up your blocker, hip-hopper, that is me. Police try frisk me, squared up then miss me. Oldie, my shit's clean, no need for no TP. 1 year drop 12 CDs, you see me like TV, I'm live, 3D. Rapping the mic, I'm a flow constrictor. I'll get you, hit you, split you, I'll spit you. Do you get the picture, mister? I said rap the mic like a blower constrictor. I'm rhyming curveballs, striking whack rappers out like a pitcher.
Who is that? Pulling up with them cool cats with full stacks. Causing commotions every time they do that. It's Mando dope, it's Mando dope, it's Mando dope, 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 it's Mando dope. Who is that? Pulling up with them cool cats with full stacks. Causing commotions every time they do that. It's Mando dope, it's Mando dope, it's Mando dope, 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 it's Mando dope.
Dope, homie, I'm uncutter, original, none other. Unique flow and type of stylish, higher than a NASA pilot. Start a riot, venomous. Intention is to lace. Kick with the flow, straight flip in the dough and attack with the drum and bass. Get amazed. Up in the place, city and states, give them a taste, straight no chase, gig and lose it, windows tinted as I cruise it. On top of them, no one copy them, can't follow my slang. Run with the ball, dip, get in the zone, cause scoring ain't a thing. Celebration, my innovation, victory dancing on vacation. A rare breed, endangered rapper on your station. Causing commotion, Mendo dope and take it worldwide. For Stallion and Oldie, got them rocking out to the sunrise.
Who is that? Pulling up with them cool cats with full stacks. Causing commotions every time they do that. It's Mendo dope, it's Mendo dope, it's Mendo dope, 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 it's Mendo dope. Who is that? Pulling up with them cool cats with full stacks. Causing commotions every time they do that. It's Mendo dope, it's Mendo dope, it's Mendo dope, 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 it's Mendo dope.
Mendo dope.
I get a different reaction. I live my life by the laws of attraction. Different reaction. I get a different reaction. I live my life by the laws of attraction. Different reaction. Let's get it. Been feeling like I have seen so many faces stuck in the matrix. Don't know if this song may go over your head, but fuck it, I'll take it. I've been taking action for all my people. I do this with passion. I've been attracting alien life forms with different reactions. I make music for the soul. I came to empower and take back control. Oh, homie, you didn't know that crystalline gold that came with these flows. I like for you all to perceive a new way you're living, a new way to do this with ease. 28, but I'm ancient.
Welcome to my hood. Where ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Where everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to ride, step into the
buckle up, I'ma show you where it's at. We gon' burn a couple blunts, we gon' pop a couple caps. I ain't talking about 4-5s from the strap. Psilocybin driving, so we headed off the map. What you know about? Tasting color, seeing sound with a crystalline. Turning nothing into something when we alchemize. Vandalize the lies with the truth. Ain't nobody wanna take shots of this proof. All we ever wanted was the answers. Looking for unique, but our vision keep us phantom. Phantom black man, ghost writing in a pentagram. I'm from the place where our thoughts meet the program. Not too many open to the power that they hold. Just know that when we shine, it's the reflection of your soul. Supreme beings moving, watch the galaxy implode. We are not alone. If you not normal, welcome home. Yeah.
Welcome to my hood. Where ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Where everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to ride, step into the
Yeah, I gotta hold on to this feeling. I'll be seeing visions through the folds of the prism. Projecting all wishes, anything I want is given. Paranormal vision, you can call it supervision. Control the superstition, make them wonder how we do it. They seen us in the mud, now we out here making music with the paranormal movement that's stronger than what you deal with. If Jesus was just a fraud, then hallelujah for Judas. Caesar is not the mob, so it just had to be Brutus. They hate when we on our job, cause persecution is useless. Proof that what we doing is more than just making music. Utilizing the truth, drop it off in the hood. Show 'em what's really good, the feeling is understood. We know just what it means to get it by all means. Supreme beings moving, watch reality explode. We are not alone, if you not normal, welcome home, yeah.
Welcome to my hood. Where ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood. Where everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you're scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really try to ride, step into the portal.
That's our theme music. Every good heroes should have theme music. Give me 1 second. Everything's all mixed up in my different places.
Hi, this is Jace, and you're listening to my favorite radio show,
I don't know what you guys put in your
ParanormalHooD
blunt,
Live.
but I feel really different.
Do you feel like an animal right now?
I
Do you
just
feel like
different.
you're having an out-of-body experience? Anything
No,
like
it's more
that?
like in a body experience, like in another body, like inside of another body, looking out through the eyes.
You being penetrated?
It's fucking bizarre. I can feel the penetration, and I can tell it's a ghost.
Like totally a ghost?
Totally a ghost. So not only does my face feel different, but I'm actually being penetrated at this time. This is horrifying and exciting at the same time. I don't know which emotion I'm going to latch on.
Hopefully, by the time you leave here, you may possibly be the highest you've ever been in your life.
Oh, I wish.
Okay. What's Hood Hoodies? Welcome back to Paranormal Hood Live. Again, we're live and direct in the God of Knowledge Studios. I am your host, Jiggy.
I am Smoke King.
What up, guys? It's Wiz.
And I am Natasha NYXX.
A.K.A. Panda. Right now. She's in panda form. Okay? So just talk to the panda. Talk to the panda, y'all. But we're back. It's Paranormal Hood. And again, we have our guest, Natasha NYXX. She's all the way here from Arizona. By the time I get to Arizona. The rap song, you don't know about that, do you? Yeah. Never been to Boston before. Have you been to the East Coast before?
Yes. No, I
New
was,
York. I bet you've been to New York, right?
I was in New York in March.
Oh, okay.
February, March. And that was my second trip to New York.
Gotcha.
And I've not been to Boston. The only place I've been on the East Coast is New York, however, strangely enough.
Gotcha.
And in the New York area, I wound up being in New Jersey some and on Staten Island. But generally speaking, that's the only place I've been. And now Boston.
Yeah, I've made a million fucking trips in New York, especially in my line of work. I mean, literally, some of the people I mentioned, I've bodyguard. I had to go pick them up, bring them there to like Rhode Island, Connecticut, Boston,
Oh, wow.
New Hampshire, then bring them back to New York. I've touched every borough in like a day and shit, like crazy shit. But yeah, so it's not one of my favorite runs, but yeah. So it's awesome to have you in studio with us, Mysterious Forces Live. We actually had the pleasure of going on your show. You've been on our show, but just to have you here, it's a whole different experience.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like you said, like when you walk in, you kind of get a different view of what the studio is, the vibe and stuff like that. It's so
Right.
different than how it kind of looks on TV,
Yeah.
And that's one thing we kind of pride ourselves in. Everybody who's come here has had an awesome time.
I like it.
We've
no.
had some awesome people come in and be like, yo, quietly, it's the best podcast I've ever been on. Like, we won't tell anybody you said that. But it's cool. We like to have a good time. And I guess I got to meet you last year, started contacting the desert. And, you interviewed me. We sat down. We talked. We didn't get a chance to smoke together. But since then, we've been building. This is almost a year
Correct.
of us just kind of building and talking, going back and forth, kind of getting to know each other in a sense of where, as podcasters, what we talk about, where we are, where we see things. And I say this, and I want to preface this with this conversation because I love telling people this. Natasha's a lot like me. She actually has a better ability to kind of get to like these, especially these events in Cali and stuff, the things that are closer to you because you live in Arizona. It's a little closer to you than coming from the East Coast. But you
Right.
do make the trips. You do go to a lot of these events and stuff like that. So when someone like us is having the conversation, Smoke King too, you know what I'm saying? He's been to these events and stuff because we've been to all the paranormal events and stuff like that. That you get to give people a first person view.
Right.
So you're not just critiquing. I'm not knocking anybody who's never been to an event, who's never met any of these people they talk about in person. That is not not my intention at all. I'm just saying we kind of have a unique view. We kind of have a unique experience that you actually sit down, see these people, hear them speak, meet them on some occasion. You get to sit down, meet some of these people, exchange energy, and kind of get more of a feeling than just what you see on YouTube, what you may see on TV, on Ancient Aliens, any other show, whatever, what you may see in a movie, whatever you may see, period. You're getting a whole different view of that stuff.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot different being there in person. Just like this is pretty surreal for me. This is the first experience I've had of like watching someone else's podcast and then going and being on their podcast physically in the location. And so it's like kind of a pinch me moment, Here I am in Boston in the Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Knowledge.
Oh, Garden of Knowledge, that's right.
That's the Garden
of
Knowledge.
Eden, that's something else.
Yeah, that's something else. It was apples, it was nude people and stuff, Adam and Eve.
There was a snake. I need a lighter, please.
Yeah, right there. There's always lighters around here.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so
what should I expect?
Yeah, I told you we're gonna get you getting high. See, all folks, you see this, right? I told you this is how we do. If anybody thought we were kidding, this is how we do. But that's what I mean. Like beginning and starting your podcast and stuff. You know, you were talking about the things that you wanted to talk about, and it's weird because even back then, him and I were still in a place where we were still kind of. We didn't know exactly when we were ready to kind of turn the corner, if that makes sense. Like when it was time and it was appropriate and ready for us to actually speak about how we really saw and felt about a lot of the stuff that we have seen firsthand. Not just, again, sitting here, you know, watching stuff, actually gone and listened to people speak, met some of these people, and just heard the stories. And at some point, you're like, okay, the conversations all sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect, again, to anybody's podcast, anybody's radio show. Everybody's entitled to speak how they want. But from our point of view, it all sounds the same. And when you start to see this stuff firsthand, experience firsthand, it's like, something's not adding up.
Right. No, I agree. I couldn't, I actually kind of recently went through something. It was, and I'm coming out of it, but, I'm still a little bit in it. And I, over the last couple of months or month and a half, I've gone through this thing. Like I had like a dark night of the soul. I was like, why am I doing this show? Why am I regurgitating all of the same stuff that other people are talking about? Not all of my shows. I'm very proud of my shows, but I've had a few guests that were suggested to me that later on I was sorry that I had on because I feel like I gave a platform to someone who's not really being honest. But everyone's been nice. I'm not going to name names. I mean, everyone's been cool, and I appreciate the people that come on the show, but I started to think about my responsibility in transmitting that kind of a message. And not to bring up CW Chanter too much, but CW talking about it, and we did our little video thing back and forth, but it really made me think. It wasn't just like something I did. I actually listened to his words, and I started to think, what the hell am I doing, and why am I doing this? And I don't want to be just like everyone else, and I'm not to be different, or not in terms of an ego. The reason I say that is because if your show and my shows like this don't have something different, that don't break the format, there's really no reason to watch it. Because of those kind of mainstream shows, they're all kind of the same. Like you've got your choices of those kinds of shows, but if people want unique entertainment,
that's the pushback you get, though, is that folks want that. That people who critique shows like yours, like mine, like a CW Chant, a Joe from the Carolinas, Steve Cambion, there's different channels that I'm starting to get worried of when I see these guys. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, they don't want that. And that's a huge thing where you got these people who they're going against the grain. They're not saying the same thing. What they're saying isn't that it's not what I want to hear. It's not comforting. It's not making me sleep better at night for some reason.
Right.
Because the belief that there's all this stuff which we'll get into that oh my Lord have mercy. There's just so much shit out there that I don't understand how people don't want something different. I know as someone who's listened to, say, Coast to Coast AM for a long time.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that was my thing. I still have a CC radio, Observer radio, and I turned it on last night. Sometimes I happen to be whatever, if I'm smoking or I'm doing something or feeding my cats, I turn my radio on and I pick it up on my local station. And I'll tune in for a few minutes to hear what's going on, and sometimes it's something I want to hear. Like he had Alex Jones on there. I wanted to hear Alex Jones when he was on there because he's Alex fucking Jones.
Right.
Who the fuck doesn't want to hear Alex Jones?
Right.
And do some DMT with Alex Jones. But I'll turn it on and listen.
The globalists are taking over.
But it's the same stuff. And I get, but there's clearly an audience for that. They're doing great numbers, I imagine. They're on fucking all these stations. They're doing all these events and stuff. So they're not hurting. And that's the thing. It's easy to be like that. For a while, we would always, from the very beginning of this podcast or this radio show, whatever you want to call it, from the very beginning, even with the ParanormalHooD investigating, when I first started talking about all this stuff, if you go back and listen to we don't do a lot of interviews. We don't do a lot of stuff because most people don't allow us to speak and be who we are. Right. They want us to fucking coon it up or some shit, or put on a suit and tie and shit and just be that's not who we are. Right. So from the very beginning, if you go back and look at anything that we've done media-wise, it's always been the same. It's always that we're going to bring some real talk. We're going to figure out through all our investigating how to be able to talk about this shit in a way that everybody else isn't doing. It's just it's so repetitive. And I get that. Again, they have an audience. You can't knock it. They're doing well. Good for them. But It's not what I want to do. I don't want to be. It's easy to be that. It's very easy to be that. I choose not to. I don't want to be just like everybody else. I don't want to talk just like them and about the same old shit and have the same old guest on talking the same old shit.
Right.
It's just fucking regurgitated.
Yeah.
It's like there's a short list of people that people can have on as guests. Really.
And and I understand what you mean. And I was kind of an iconoclast, if I can put that out there about myself, in the terms that I wasn't speaking politely from the very beginning of my show about the people that I think are dishonest and who are pretty demonstrably dishonest. I don't just go around throwing that out, but I mean, we know the three people that I'm talking about, and I've just been on their ass from day one. Corey Good, Emery Smith, and
David Wilcock.
Yeah, David Wilcock. How can I forget the Wilcock?
The Ascension Mystery School.
He loves the Wilcock. Anyway, no, and it's true. And the thing is, I want to posit the notion that there is a place for this. There's a place for this show. There's a place for my show. There's an audience for that. And I think that there's a new guard of these kinds of shows. I think, personally, C.W. Chanter, Dark Journalist, Joe from the Carolina, this show, Paranormal Hood,
Unirock.
my show, Unirock.
Steve Cambion.
Right. There's a handful of people. There's maybe a dozen of us, but we're like the new guard in this. And we're not willing to just regurgitate the same old shit. We're not willing to let some Yahoo that's been on Coast to Coast 3 or 4 times just talking some outrageous, unrealistic shit, and then give them a platform on my show for ratings or your show. Or,
but
I'm kind of speaking collectively.
Do it, but see, here's the thing, and I've said this. We don't have a problem talking to them, anybody who we feel like we want to have a conversation, especially somebody you're talking about. We're not going to batter. It's not a fucking dick swinging conversation, yelling and all that type of shit. All we want to ask is, can you tell us something new? Can you tell us something? Can you show us some fucking proof? There's a whole lot of talk. And again, following these people for years, listening to these people for years who since the 90s have been spewing the same shit without one iota of tangible evidence. It all sounds great. I say it a million times. It reads of science fiction. Everybody wants to go out and see Avengers Endgame, right?
Right.
Just listen to fucking Wilcock. His ascension in the 318D, and that's Endgame for us. Like, these people are literally creating science fiction movies and selling it as fact, and it's the Endgame for you. They don't even realize how it parallels. Like, you talk about, I'm a comic book reader, have been my whole fucking life. Love comic books, okay? And I realized from a young age that art imitated life. I absolutely said this before it became, not saying like but I understood that what they were doing in the comic book, that Stan Lee especially made things so that people would realize what the comic books were about. That's why people gravitated towards it. And a lot of people didn't even realize it because it's art imitating life.
Right.
So now these people are they're making that their art that's like supposed to be real life. And you can read, it's the same thing, Endgame. It's just not fucking Thor and Hulk and all these superheroes. It's David Wilcock and Corey Good and Emery Smith and whoever else is out there pushing 18D. And it's fucking, hold on, for the blue avians and shit. Who's pushing these ascensions and all this crazy shit that's going to happen with aliens and stuff. It's a movie. It's a bad movie. It's not a good movie. It's not even a B movie on Sci-Fi Channel. It's the movie you watch when you're just really fucking high and there's nothing else on that's on Sci-Fi and it had a good title. So you watched it and shit. And then you were like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yep, I get it. When I go onto YouTube myself, not for my show, but as a private citizen, the YouTube algorithm has determined that advertising Gaia TV to me is the optimal target in terms of what I listen to. So I've been watching a lot of atheist videos lately. I'm going to have an atheist on next month, and this guy is super smart and he's pretty hardcore. So I am studying up so that I don't sound like an idiot when I talk to this guy. But every time I'm going to watch these atheist videos and stuff, a Gaia TV ad comes on, and there's Emery Smith's face saying, "I have seen living extraterrestrials with my own eyes.
I've secret space farce."
Right? Yeah.
Oh, it's all over Instagram. Oh my goodness.
And so, it's like I can't even get to a video on YouTube without seeing Gaia TV and this avalanche of bullshit. And not that every single person that's been on Gaia TV is a charlatan.
Complete charlatan and woo-woo fuckhead.
Right. I mean, Deepak Chopra, you can say he's woo-woo, what the fuck ever, but he's always been that. You know what I mean? Like he had a career of his own before Gaia TV. You know what I mean? So
he's one of them. I'll move him out of the 30% of truth and 70% bullshit. He's a little bit higher. I'd go maybe 50-50 and stuff, because a lot of the stuff that he does talk about with meditation and things like that is very good for you and very true. But then he starts talking all about this stuff like he's a quantum physicist and quantum scientist and everything like that, and he has no clue, not an inkling of understanding, and he's just rambling on, throwing together a word salad with a bunch of, scientific type words that sound good with spiritual words and stuff, and it's like, let's go back to the meditation talk here, dude, because you're totally, you're going over there and everything. And he's getting more that way since he's gone to Gaia. I've noticed that shifting to him, too. Once he's around all these other people and he's starting to talk more of the woo-woo fuckery shit instead of, let's go back to, the meditation, peace of mind, happiness and everything like that. And let's not talk about your woo-woo fuckery shit over there that you have no idea or anything about quantum anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. There are some people on there that they're, more presentable, a little bit more honorable than other people on Gaia and stuff like that, So.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to mention names, but I know someone who had a show on Gaia, and I do know for a fact, direct from this person to me, that they censored the tone of the information presented in the program and basically put the kibosh on one episode, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken.
No, but
they actually wanted to control the message of this person's show.
But that's what they're going to... It's a network. Here's the thing. Even I had to come in the defense of people who were asking me recently about paranormal, researchers and stuff, paranormal investigators and the shows and stuff. In a lot of cases, when you have networks involved, you have a lot of hands that are touching your finished product. And you don't necessarily have a say. You signed on as talent, but if you don't completely control your product, same thing with a rapper, a singer, anything, if you don't control your product, what the finished product is may not be what you expect it to be, or what you set out for it to be, or even what you said. And they like smoke kink. They'll chop up and make word salads for you and stuff.
Right.
These are networks. Why would you look to a Gaia? Why would you look to the History Channel with Ancient Aliens? Why would you look to any of these fucking channels to give you any kind of real truth anyways? That's not what they are entertainment. That's what they are there for. They are there so you're on the end of your seat with popcorn like, oh my God, aliens did what? With who? Where? And they're coming back when? And we're all going to die? And I saw that in Independence Day, and I saw that in every other fucking science fiction movie I've seen, and Avengers and everything else, Cthulhu coming through and all that shit.
Cthulhu?
Why are you looking to any of these people for...
Shit, I read H.P. Lovecraft too.
Me too.
Is that why this room is round and has no right angles in it? Sorry, I didn't want to give away one of your major trade secrets.
They're not supposed to know. They'll start calling us loppers or something. Listen, all I know is that there's a whole lot of people talking a whole lot of shit that just doesn't add up. And it's not calling it out. It's not trying to be adversarial. It's not trying to be assholes. It's trying to just say, even when I go, I pay my money. You pay your money to be at these places and stuff and do what you do. I just would like to get some real answers, not just sit there and be lectured. I grew up in church. I grew up in religion. I grew up in school. I grew up being lectured by adults and supposed people who were smarter than you or knew more than you or can interpret some shit. I remember all the finger pointing and people telling you when you ask questions, you're wrong.
Right.
And they would completely try to quash any kind of creativity you had.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're asking questions, you can't directly ask these people any real questions. Their whole defense, there's haters. Oh, it's the cabal. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. No, it's actually people who pay their money who just want to understand something. The whole thing is about disclosure, but it's like a fucking big game to get to disclosure. It's like the biggest fucking game ever. It's like they took every board game you could think about, put it together, and made it so fucking complicated to get to disclosure. But everybody's all about disclosure. All these people, you got the Tom DeLongs. This is somebody DeLong. You got DeLong money. You're Blink 182. You've been all over the world. You have inside information. Why should
he blew
anybody?
That shit plus some other fucking shit.
But whatever.
$39 million in debt, right?
But even if he did, if he has any real tangible information, he'd be a rock star again. Give that information out. Why are you selling it? Why are you fucking doing crowdfunding and fundraising and shit? Then you're in debt. And now you have a television show.
You're going to be on every single TV show. You're going to be on fucking in everything. You're going to be everywhere. Just give that information out for free. So I say it all the time. The truth is free, right?
Absolutely.
If you're really about it,
if the truth shall set you free, then the truth should be free, right?
The truth will make you all the money you want anyways, because if you have this real tangible information, this real disclosure, you will be fine.
If the truth is in your book, why don't you just tell everybody, and then they'll be like, well, fuck, come on my show, come and do this. Here,
right. They're going to have you everywhere. You're going to make the circuit.
Make everybody buy your book, and they read your book, and they're like, this is bullshit. There's no truth in this book at all.
Because you got to get the next book, and then you got to go to the seminar, and then you got to watch the YouTube channels, and you got to give to the Patreon, and then you got to give to everything else. It's a big fucking game.
That's what it is.
It's a huge
fucking
game.
Goddamn fucking con.
And it's not even good Monopoly either. At least Monopoly was entertaining. You could play that shit for hours, be entertained because you was doing funny shit. But this shit ain't even entertaining. It's just retarded, stupid. Excuse me, I don't know anybody gets offended by that word, but I think that applies to
It's a little fun at first, but as you get through and you learn it's a fucking game of bullshit, it's like, who likes playing with bullshit?
Right. No, I agree.
All right, I can't. Sorry, I'll have to. There's some shit that's okay to play with. I grow mushrooms, so. But all that other bullshit, who the fuck wants to touch that shit? Who wants to play around with bullshit? How can that be fun?
No, I agree.
Unless you're growing mushrooms, bullshit's not fun.
Indeed. Good for the garden, bad for your head.
Listen, I've already had an aneurysm. I don't need another one. Listening to people's bullshit. I don't need my brain to explode again. I'm good.
I mean, I think that's part of this this kind of moment that I'm coming out of, is that I saw myself as starting to be a participant in that, and to be an enabler of that bullshit, and I very quickly realized it's much more important to me to have integrity than to get subscribers or create controversy or anything else. And I want to earn my subscribers honestly. You know what I mean? And I want them to subscribe because I truly like the show. And I think you guys probably want the same thing for your show. You don't want a bunch of fucking
we've never paid
right.
for we don't sponsor a fucking ad. We don't do anything. If you want to, this is even people who come, like you say, sometimes we've had random people on the show because some people have petitioned, and it's been a cool enough petition, like, all right, let's bring them on the show. It could be pure fucking entertainment for us tonight and make it worth smoking a bunch of weed and listen to these motherfuckers ramble sometime, and that's cool. But most of the people who hit us up, they don't even bother to listen to the show.
Right.
That's the irony of it. Like, you're going to ask to go on something you've never even listened to the host, what they talk about, what they do. You don't know how we speak, anything, and then possibly be offended by something we say. Yeah. Like, at least do some research. Oh, I just want to come on your show. Why do you want to come on our fucking show? Who the fuck are you? Right. We'd rather sit here and have a conversation with ourselves and an audience than have some random guest on just to fill some fucking space.
That's why we got to the point like you. We've always, we try and put out, what the best truth as we could and stuff. And we would bring to the light, okay, this is fake and stuff. And we'd laugh about, Scott Seymour and stories and stuff here and there throughout the years. But as we kept on going, more and more, we're like, this is all bullshit levels. Like, we can't talk about this stuff. And we just got to the point where, like, well, we just can't keep fucking doing this just to fill in space and stuff. So we just put it, we're like, let's not read this one. Let's not just, and then we didn't want to just be debunking everything. And everybody's like, oh, you're just skeptical and you're debunking everything and like that. No, we're doing our actual research. And this is the point we're getting to. Like, it's real nice fluff up here. And then as you keep digging down, you're like, oh, fuck, that's not true. No, that's not true. And so that's when, and like they saying, we don't want to just come on here and try and get likes and get everybody to fucking follow us and subscribe and do all that and everything. I mean, we want people to follow and subscribe, but we're not just going to put out bullshit just to get you guys to come on here and be like, oh, well, here's the story, and we're going to say it's true, even though we figured out it's bullshit just because we're going to get the thumbs up and all this shit and fucking subscribe my Patreon and super chat donations and shit, which we don't do any of that shit.
Yep.
If y'all seeing ads and stuff on YouTube and everything, it's because YouTube's putting it on there. We don't get any of that money or anything like that. We don't fucking, I don't have any of the fucking...
Nothing's monetized.
Nothing's monetized. No boxes of checks for any of that. Nothing. We're just here to talk to you guys and tell you the truth. Talk about what we find. All right, if it's true, we're going to say that, or if it's highly plausible, whatever. That's what we're here to do. And a lot of people don't like that for some reason.
That's why.
You know what?
That's why.
You know
I
what?
respect you guys.
That's okay. That's okay with me because I'm gonna keep on coming out here. I'm gonna keep on doing it for the people who do like that.
In 6 years of this show existing, at no point have we ever it's not been about any of that. It's just about having organic conversations and just trying to
talking
figure
about
this
these
shit
subjects.
Out. It all sounds good. We've had our personal experiences, ghosts, whatever, and stuff like that. I've never seen an alien except Sam Cassell.
Still believe all this shit's real.
Exactly. I
just
know what I've experienced.
All the evidence and the proof that's out there, as with research, you come to find out.
But why is the mainstream so full of fuckery is the problem. Where you have people who are genuinely, and William Bennett, and what he's saying is that, you know, there are some victims. There are people who are generally out there who are confused, have had experiences. Myself, when I first found the community was through Coast to Coast. Listen to Coast AM. Having the shit that I went through, my brain and all that stuff, and I dying and coming back. There was not many people I could talk to.
Right.
There was nobody in my family, anybody that I knew that I could sit down and have that conversation to. There's one kid now who's had a fucked up experience too and died, my friend Frankie. But there wasn't, and all of a sudden you find this community. So when I found the community, I'm like, this is fucking cool. There are other people, incredible people who've had death experiences, near-death experiences, different things. Now you get into this and it's aliens and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, my whole life I believe I've seen UFOs. You go down that rabbit hole. But then after all these years, again,
then you learn that's how cults start.
Yeah, basically.
Then you start doing research and you're like, wait a second, that's the what? Fuck, am I in a cult now? Shit, you know what I mean? That's what they do. They look for the people they see the people that, you know, that they're kind of depressed, have family problems. They're like, oh, come on, meditate with us, peace, love, light. We believe in aliens and all this other stuff too. Come be part of the group with us. Step into the light. Step into the light with us.
Put on these
Don't be afraid of the dark side.
Here comes the Hale-Bopp comet.
Those people, that's just their... That's just them being mean and their reflections and bouncing off of the duality and everything. Oh no! Come into our group.
Raise your love and light, unless it's.
Wait a minute, your light is getting too bright. We don't like that now. That's not that. No, you can't do that when you're over here with the light and all that other fucking bullshit.
Y'all just so you know,
yeah,
it's the first time Tasha's actually smoked Fronto.
And that's what happens. That's what they a lot of these people that, you know, some of them are just out there because they believe their own bullshit that they peddle and stuff. But then a lot of them know that that's what out there. There's people that are looking. Everybody's looking for the answers to something, to all their problems and stuff. And again, a lot of this stuff is good. Meditation is good. Changing your diet, eating healthy, and exercising and everything. That's all really good stuff.
But the funny
Listen to woo-woo fuckery bullshit fucking about aliens and all that other stuff. That's not good for you.
But the irony is where it starts.
Believing in Q and fucking losing your whole entire family and all your friends and your job and shit because you fucking are all into fucking Q and fucking secret space programs and chicken fuckers. I mean, chicken birds. That's not good. That's a problem. That's not a family of people that are taking other on the internet and taking care of you, and that's not peace and love and light and fucking all goodness. That's some serious fucking mental health issues and stuff and some serious problems. Those people, you know what I mean? Q don't give a fuck about you like that for you to give up your whole life for fucking Q.
I'll tell you, when you go like Phil Schneider, you know Phil Schneider?
I do.
And when you go and do the research in the background about like his life and what he did and stuff to himself, that's a perfect example of somebody who was mentally ill, but was so bought into the woo-woo that he cut off his own fingers and stuff and did damage to his own body, physical stuff to himself, to go as far as to try to prove a fake point.
Yeah, I think as you were talking, Smoke King, I was thinking, and I wanted to ask you, don't you think that some of what we're talking about is a little bit of the human condition, that you have a group, a demographic of people, let's say, that aren't Christians, they're not religious in the traditional sense, but they still want to belong to a community.
Exactly.
They want something to belong
it's part
to.
Of the human
and
conditioning.
But that's where
that
it
desire
started for
to
most,
belong to a collective or a group is actually the motivation behind them, and they've just found a palatable mythology to latch on to make an excuse for being part of a community.
It's just another group that's not the religion that they were so against and everything. It's just a new religion, a new cult, a new whatever you want to call it and stuff. Instead of being, they're all like, oh, we're the individual universe and we're, but you're all one. But I'm individual and I'm creating my own reality and stuff. I'm like, really? Well, your reality off of social media doesn't look all that great. And all this stuff. And it's because it's the want and the need to be part of the community. And it's the way the human condition is, too, is to latch on. You're looking for these answers because I get depressed. People get depressed. People have problems, money problems, problems with their family, problems with girlfriends and husbands and wives and all kinds of problems. It's called life. But we're not necessarily taught how to deal with that and everything in every way, so we just try and look for things, whether it's a religion or if it's this. A lot of people are sports junkies or exercise junkies and stuff, or just finding somebody who's talking about something that sounds plausible and it's good, and it's people get into drugs and stuff, or people get into spirituality and consciousness and aliens and all this stuff because it's this big fantastical world that sounds so much better than yours, and you're gonna ascend into fifth dimension and stuff, and these chicken birds are gonna come and save you, and the reptilians are gonna get killed, and all this fucking fantastical, wonderful, fucking magical shit. It sounds great, but it also sounds just like the religion that these people shit all over and that they were so afraid of, and they're looking for answers elsewhere and everything like that. They've just changed some words around and some little things up and switched it up a little bit, and it's just a new hash religion, just like the religion they left is a rehashed of the older religions and stuff, of the older religions, and it just keeps on getting rehashed and stuff like that. Back to the fucking when we're just fucking apes and shit, and then we started to talk and move around in little packs and groups, and we're like fucking stars and shit, and we're like, oh shit, this is a god. Wow, look at this fucking thing. We were sun worshippers first and shit, sun, moon and stuff, because we're like, well, we know the fucking sun comes up, gives us light and stuff. That's what we're all worshipping. That's what we should be worshipping. That's fucking, without the sun, even my son knows we're gonna die. He's 4 years old, and he's like, no sun, no life. So everything originally was that, the sun, the stars, and everything like that. And people just fucking come up with these now. They just shit. They want to talk about ancestry and history and all this stuff and everything, but they shit all over the true, actual fucking history and ancestry of these people and these cultures and stuff by throwing in, oh yeah, they're believing and they're talking about aliens and look at this stuff and they said all this shit, and this guy right here, look at it, he flew in a rocket ship off to fucking faraway places in the fucking galaxy and shit like that, and just completely shit all over this fucking stuff and ignore what this culture and what these things actually represented. And like there's people, because it's passed down generations and stuff, that still know what these symbols and know that some of this stuff means and stuff.
No, they go
and
find the
these
village
stories,
idiot.
And they find the village
find
fucking drunk idiot and stuff. Like, yeah, that's aliens. That's what my people say. But you actually talk to some people, other people, like, no, this is the story. We still believe this in our culture today and stuff, in some ways and stuff. These vines are taking him and carrying him. He's trying to come back up, and it's the afterlife. There's no fire at the bottom. It's the fucking root of the tree. It's the tree of life and stuff, and he's going through the whole process and shit.
You mean Kyle's rocket's not a rocket?
Yeah, he's not a rocket, man. You can't fucking fly anywhere in rockets. We know that.
But Kyle's rocket didn't have any exterior anyways. What would he have done in space? He just, he was fucking,
this is control. Von Daniken, he has some type of controls and his feet are on pedals. What the fuck are you on? That dude was on the best fucking, Von Daniken was on the best fucking weed, acid, fucking psychedelic. I don't know what the fuck that dude was smoking. Him and Sitchin both, they were on some
vodka.
Fucking drugs.
It was vodka.
Beyond fucking belief to fucking think and see and imagine the shit that they fucking see. Those are the two fucking, it goes way back before that, but for most of the modern stuff, Sitchin and fucking Von Daniken and where all this fucking ancient aliens fucking secret fucking bullshit fucking starts with. It goes way back further than that, but they're the big jumping off point for fucking, because that's what everybody bases most of their shit off of, and then a lot of times they don't even fucking know who's that, huh, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, okay, cool. So you just fucking posting up and you're talking about Anunnaki and everything and all this shit, and you don't even know who Zachariah Sitchin is, the man who fucking came up with all this shit when he plagiarized and fucking ripped off all these old stories and just stuck Anunnaki in there. Anunnaki, Nephilim. Let me put this in here. Okay, sounds good story. Pay me my money now. And then he stole the money from the fucking publishers and stole money to get the book published and all kinds of shit. Fucking went to jail, a whole bunch of shit. Later on, did an interview for Playboy and stuff, said he lied about the whole entire fucking thing. It's all bullshit, made it all up and everything. But everybody's like, it's real.
Really good
it's
pussy
real.
that night.
It's fucking real.
That's what happened.
I believe it.
You know that's what happened, right?
It's a book series.
No,
it's
he got a rub and
fucking
tug,
book series.
and they were like, "You got to tell the truth now." He got a rub and tug and told it all. That's all it was. See the power of the.
Do you think
people talk about it as it's the truth? It's like, it's the series of Bibles. It's the gospel.
Dude, Ancient
it's the,
Aliens.
it's
Hello,
the
it's on the
ancient
History
Scripture and
Channel.
stuff. No, it's legit a sci-fi book series.
So my question for you guys, asking you questions on your own show.
You're supposed to.
But
do what you want.
We do. This is what we do.
Throwing back a little bit to what you mentioned earlier, art imitating life. Do you think part of this modern phenomenon where we're at right now is that social media has given us an opportunity to start having our lives imitate art because we can see ourselves projected onto these platforms as something else, as someone else? Like, the best possible fucking version of you is what you put on Facebook, right? Like, I mean, there are always exceptions, but generally speaking, people are not putting the average everyday shit on there or their worst moments. They're presenting the best part of themselves on Facebook, on Twitter, on all these platforms. And then I think that even extends to people like us. I'm not putting us in that category, but when you have your own show on YouTube, what I thought having my own show meant totally changed once the show started. And after I saw myself on YouTube a couple of times, I was over it. I wasn't in it for that celebrity aspect. I actually wanted to bring people on and ask them questions that other people don't ask them because of whatever reason. So I wanted to ask those questions that other people are too afraid or too timid to ask, or frame things in a way that people might find rude or disruptive.
Get them out of
talking
their
shit
comfort
about,
zone.
right. Like, instead of glossing over Corey Good, calling him an asshole and a liar, because that's the fucking truth. And, that's all there is to it. And so I'm a lot more interested in being a purveyor of integrity and truth and information that makes
morals,
people think.
You got morals,
right.
and you got morals. You guys got morals, right?
So I want to circle around. Wait, don't let me lose this. So I'm asking you guys, do you think that's part of this phenomenon, that now it's people trying to make their own lives imitate the art they see? Their own lives are reflected back to them on social media, so it feeds into these cults of personality, and these two things just kind of dovetail together to create exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's a viable idea, or am I full of shit?
No, it's definitely plausible, because these people think about these stories in their head, and then they can go and they can post it up on social media and live out their little fantasy and imaginations that they have in their head, and everybody latches onto it,
and you're gonna find
and it
people
helps
who
it, and you're
think
gonna
the same
find
way.
other people
It's very easy to do
that
now.
are thinking the same way
or if
and
they
stuff.
did, you've lit a match in them. All of a sudden, there's a flame that's been inside of them, and when you start talking about whatever, blue chicken aliens, all of a sudden they can relate to that. They had a dream about one or some shit, and they don't realize, yeah, you did. You saw it in a fucking movie. You read it in a comic book. You know what I mean? You saw it somewhere on television in one of these sci-fi TV shows. Of course you were dreaming about it. Of course you have some kind of memory. These people are
even though I
using
never
stories
seen a
they know
blue
are going to
chicken bird,
resonate
you
with
can still have a dream, and you dream sometimes chickens are different colors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And be like, dreams are fucking.
They're just dreams.
Dreams, and they're really strange.
You can
and
make
stuff.
a reality because people make movies. Listen, if they took this stuff and sold it to Hollywood, cool.
Right.
But the fact that you're selling it to people, but then too, that's where I have a huge problem too, because I'm a believer, but most of these people aren't victims. And that the same way a lot of these people go to sci-fi movies, the same way if we sat here every week and did a show about sci-fi movies, our show was strictly about sci-fi movies, and we critiqued them, you would have the same kind of pushback, because there's always someone who likes something you don't like.
Right.
Siskel and Ebert were cool as fuck to watch, but I never went by what the fuck any critic has ever said about a movie.
Exactly.
I'm more of a this sounds like something or looks like something I want to watch. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll make my own opinions about it. So if we sat here and did that about movies and we said, okay, we're going to allow people to have comments or some pushbacks, and people were in the comments like, well, fuck you, man. I don't care if you didn't like Star Wars episode whatever because you didn't like Jar Jar Binks, because I hated Jar Jar Binks. I didn't understand those fucking movies, right? There's some people who loved them, whatever. There's going to be people, there's going to be pushback. That's cool. There's no problem with the pushback. I don't have a problem with that. But the fact is that there's not a whole lot of pushback because most of the people who are watching a show like yours, a show like ours, are looking for some real talk. They're looking, this is what we're doing. When you're talking about posting on social media, go watch what we do on social media. What'd you say?
Are you behind me?
No, I'm on the street.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotta go get blunt.
If you go watch us on social media, anywhere, this is what we post. This is what we do. This is what we've been doing for years.
Right.
We've talked about stuff. We've talked about ghosts, all that type of stuff. But we've always said, and it was our biggest thing, Kevin Garnett, the Boston Celtics, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Because it's a
Anything still is
possibility.
possible.
Right.
But we are
Some of this stuff is still highly plausible.
Yeah. It's still
Some
it's
is
still
highly plausible, but a lot of it now that we
It's
come to
just
find
bullshit.
out is just bullshit.
It's just woo. It's just a bunch of fucking woo. It sounds real good. It reads real well. It would probably look good in a B movie, but it's a bunch of woo. Where's the real? That's all I'd like to hear. That's why I've been asking.
I believe in aliens. I'm still looking for that truth. I didn't stop at the first fucking shred of evidence that fucking David Wilcox fucking put up, or supposed shred of evidence that somebody put out there and stuff. Oh, there's my proof. That's it. I know they're real. They exist. This guy's talking about blue chicken birds and fucking secret space programs. I believe every word he's saying. That's it. I don't have to ask him questions. I don't need to know anything else except fucking where do I send him my check for my for Ascension School, because I gotta fucking be able to ascend.
And you know what?
And it's like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened to question and everything? You know what I mean? That's like the main
Right.
motto
And
of
if
all
they
these
have a
people.
problem with
Question
anybody
everything.
questioning it or talk about it, fuck you.
Right.
Okay? Right here. Okay? Because it doesn't make sense that you should be angry about anybody giving an objective point of view. Anybody giving that's how what religion was. Crusades and stuff like that. They went around because they wanted everyone to believe in their religion, in one religion, whoever that was, because it wasn't just the Christians who did it. Many different religions tried to go around the world and do the same shit. Everybody wanted everybody else to believe what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same shit.
Yeah.
You want everybody to believe what you believe? We're not allowed to say, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right.
It's an echo
Something
chamber.
about this shit, exactly. You want everyone in the room to just be a bunch of fucking yes men.
Yeah.
Remember, was that Yes? Is that movie Yes Man with fucking Jim Carrey? That's what you want, a bunch of yes.
That movie's great.
That movie is fucking awesome though. But in essence, that's what they want. And they get mad about pushback, and then it's all when you watch. And I still watch their stuff. I guess in a sense they're still being supported because if their accounts are monetized, you're still watching what they're doing. You could have passed that back this way. I don't have to get up. We make it simple around here. Oh, you want to hit the can? Close up. See what goes on here. We told you all. I wish, explaining esoteric, I wish Kelly and her friends were here because they were talking about they could come here and smoke, that they can hang. We'll see. They say contact in the desert, they're going to come hang with us. Yo.
I'm back.
Yeah. You can't be mad at people talking about this stuff. Again, if anybody didn't have conversations about other ways of thinking, the world we'd all look the same. Everything would be the same. Everything would be done. We'd all just be doing the same shit. There'd be no diversity. There'd be no creativity. There'd be nothing. We are allowed to talk about this stuff. If shame on them for not being man enough to just be like, okay, there's people who disagree. They brought it to the point where people get angry and stuff about it. I don't even get angry about it. I don't feel robbed by them. Again, I'm an adult. I am 49 fucking years old. When I go to any of these events, anything I do, I choose to pay my money. I choose to fly across the country.
Right.
Guess what? I'm leaving the East Coast to go to the West Coast and stuff like that.
Right.
At no point have I ever been disruptive. I don't disrupt anything. I support it. I go and listen because in it too, there are some incredible people. I get to see people like Robert Schock, who's bringing a whole different thing. There are some other people, Richard Dolan, I'm on the fence with. There's some people whose names, you can say, okay, these people they're there, but they're pushing back. What's it, Stanford Freeman? There are some people who push back, and that's cool, and they are prevalent in the field. We're not prevalent in the field like that. There's no need. Pushback is here. They want to address it at any time. Because clearly I know that I talked about somebody's wife was my friend on Facebook. Isn't my friend anymore. So clearly they hear what we're saying. They're allowed to talk. There's no arguing. We're not arguing. You don't hear us yell. You don't really hear us. We get excited a little bit.
Right.
But you don't hear any real there's some swearing. There's some weed smoke and everything. Weed chills us the fuck out. A lot of weed smoke. You know that. So that's what I'm saying. There's why not be men enough to be able to, that's what people are supposed to do. You take anybody, a Tony Robbins, you take any of these people, what's it, Joel Osteen, all those people. I don't agree with Tony Robbins, I don't have a problem, but Joel Osteen, I don't really agree with what he does. But if you had him in an interview, in a calm, simple interview, he's going to explain to you his beliefs.
Right.
And whatever pushback you have, he's going to have his answers. These people should be able to do the same thing. Why is it all the same media? Why are you still addressing the same fucking crowds? Because you're looking for a bunch of fucking people. But yes, let's go. We're in the aliens coming, man. They're coming any day now. Here comes the blue aliens. Here comes Ascension. Here comes all this stuff. And you missed the main part of being a human being. Maybe some of you motherfuckers unfortunately need to die and come back, because I know death experience personally changes a motherfucker. And you start to see the world a little different, and maybe you'd be a little bit more prone to give credit to human beings, to yourselves, to what the fuck we are capable of doing. There are some extremely intelligent people I surround myself with all the time. There are motherfuckers in this room who can do stuff, including you, who can't do stuff that I can do. And then there's things that I can do that y'all can't do. And there's things that you've been, and places you've been that you haven't, I've been with. It all kind of meshes in. Okay?
Yeah. No, I get that. That's I think that's part of what's going on right now is this struggle between content on YouTube, traditional media outlets, and what's traditionally been presented in the media versus what we have now, where we really, it's not true democracy because there's still a corporation behind it and there still is some censorship going on. But generally speaking, this is the Wild West and anything goes. And at least language has been freed out. Freed up, yeah. Like Joe Rogan, I mean, look, he's got the top podcast in the fucking world. But, he can talk about pussy and sucking dick all day long and no one cares.
But you should be able to. That's also the problem with terrestrial radio. That's the problem where a coast to coast, in a sense, has become antiquated, where you're still catering to the same crowd you're going to live and die by. Because these younger folks, you're not necessarily reaching them because you're not speaking to them. You're not talking a language that they fucking understand. They don't really want to hear the same old pacifying bullshit. If you watch how these kids are, they push back.
Right.
They speak a whole different language. I'm 50, almost 50 years old. I'm 49. So I remember language has changed. How young people speak to you, how they deal with you, how they see you, how they perceive what you're talking about is completely different. Generations change. See, I used to be the angry old man because these fucking kids, and I realized, wait a minute, I was one of these kids once. And I did a lot of the same shit. And that I just grew up and I got older, and I'm supposed to see the world differently. I'm supposed to have a different view. I'm supposed to speak a different way because I'm older, because I respect the fact of where I am in my place in life. It's a struggle to understand that. And I don't know, I know some people who are older than me who may not have grasped that concept. I've just grasped it because I don't want to be the angry old man, because there's nothing to be angry about. What I'm supposed to do is learn how to talk to them, how to have these young folks around me and be able to communicate with them, but also hear what they're talking about and how they're going, because they're the future in this. They are also the ones who are going to take things like podcasting, which is a great platform. This is what the internet did. The internet gave everybody a voice.
Right. It was an equalizer.
Everybody.
Yes.
However you get on the internet, whatever you go, if you're leaving a Yelp review,
not with
you
your
have a
fucking
voice.
phone unless you have 1,000 subscribers now, and that's why you're not getting a fucking simultaneous broadcast from me, is because YouTube just changed the rules. Fuck you, YouTube. Continue.
I don't even know the rules. What are the
Yeah,
rules?
now if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, you
all
can't
right.
broadcast with your phone.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Assholes.
Whatever.
Anyway,
You'll get
I didn't mean to interrupt
You'll
you.
get 1,000 subscribers. I don't even know the count. I think we just got to 1,000 subscribers recently or something. Thank you to you. Thank you to CW Chanter and different folks who explaining esoterica, because I know there's some folks who follow those channels and stuff too, and you should.
All
Important
good people.
conversation. See, we haven't even taken a break. That's how cool this conversation is. Normally we take a break.
Oh, yeah.
Just gotta keep talking.
No, I'm digging this.
I'm enjoying this.
This is what we're here for, right?
Yes, this is, again, at my age, if I couldn't sit down after all the stuff that I've been through, which is why ParanormalHooD began, to where I am at now, as an investigator, we are paranormal investigators. If you look at from the very beginning, that's what we have called ourselves. You don't do yourself diligence if you're not an investigator. You don't do your audience any diligence if you're not really investigating. If you're just regurgitating the same old shit that everybody else is, you're not an investigator.
Right.
Because most of those folks didn't investigate what they talk about.
Right.
It's a lot of secondhand shit. Like I said, I talked about Security Team 10, a perfect example. I used to love that channel. I watched it.
Me too.
And I would hit this dude up and send a message. And some of the stuff I would question. Like, he put up obvious. I worked nightclubs, events in the city of Boston for years. Still do it every now and then. I know what searchlights look like.
Right.
I know exactly what they're going to do. And when someone sends you a single still shot of what's supposed to be a bunch of UFOs, you have one shot. You didn't videotape it. It's downtown Boston. You didn't say, everybody look up and videotape this. So when you call them out, they have no response. They don't want anybody to respond to them. They just want to keep regurgitating a bunch of bullshit and call it aliens or whatever. It's UFOs, and some of it can even be debunked. Planes and stupid shit.
Alien, didn't you know that?
It does?
Yeah, dude, look it up, man. UFO, that means alien.
Unidentified flying alien every fucking time? I guess. Listen, I just thought I was a follower of a lot of people.
Me
and
too.
then you started to question these people. That's what you do. You follow them, and after years, it's like, wait a minute.
You don't stop questioning shit.
You kept
like I said
saying, right,
earlier.
but you kept
Hopefully.
saying this, and this was going to happen, and this never happened, and all these predictions and all this type of bullshit. None of it's come true. None of it. I'm still waiting for these aliens to show up. This disclosure, it happened because the Navy released those videos of a couple of shit they don't know. They could have been fucking buzzing them with some new drone technology just to see how those pilots would respond.
A new drone. It could have been a new fucking plane.
But anything.
New type of
Well,
fucking
that was
aircraft.
a
It wasn't
fucking plane,
but
aircraft doing all that shit.
It was some type of an aircraft, some type of unidentified flying aircraft.
They didn't know what it was. They could have just did to see how they would react to something they've never seen before. You don't know what the fuck they would test it. Anything is possible, but that's not disclosure. Tom DeLonge stringing us along is not disclosure. David Wilcox,
number one balloon.
Exactly, number one balloon and shit. David Wilcox, Emery Smith, all these people. What's his name? Corey Good. There's the Jason Rice guy. There's a bunch of this. They're not disclosure, and they're not working for real disclosure because any real person who had any real information is not going to these guys.
Right.
They're just not. They're not credible people to go to. Why would you put your life, your information that is life changing, that is worlds changing, that is history, you would put it in their hands?
Because modern society has left people feeling empty, and they want to fill that empty space inside themselves with something. And now we live in a world with a media saturation to the point where there's a niche for every single person out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like the incel guys who can't get fucking laid for whatever reason.
What?
Like incels. That means involuntarily celibate. Those are guys that are ugly or fat or dorky or whatever. They can't get laid. They call themselves incels, and it's a whole movement, and it's on the edge of the alt-right. Incels.
But I'm not saying the guy in the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin. I'm just saying 40-year-old virgin type of people.
So they present themselves
because they're out
such,
there. There's 60-year-old virgins,
and they think that that's going to attract them to get some pussy.
Right. This is like a 25 or 30-year-old guy that's never been laid and complaining about women, like they have a misogynistic bent because they can't get any pussy.
Right. It's the woman's fault. It's everybody else's fault but their own.
Exactly.
Because they don't really do anything to get some pussy.
Right.
Pretty much. Excuse me, anybody who's offended by the word pussy, but yes.
How are you going to get any pussy?
If anybody's offended by anything, obviously, this isn't the place for you.
Yeah, incels.
This is so freeing being on this show because my Department of Defense handlers will not let me say this shit on my show or smoke weed. So
that's cool. Well, you're here now. Listen,
I'm out from under their watchful eye.
Listen, I'm so far removed from my service that it doesn't even matter now. They know where I stand on all this. I call it all bull. I'm probably just a lopper or a psyop anyway. Yeah, I was just planted here for that. See, that's my whole thing.
I'm a disinfo agent.
Q is real, man.
My middle initial isn't Q for no reason. It's not.
Q Asnon is real. You didn't know that? The secret space farce is real.
Yeah.
It's all real, man. It's all fucking real. The secret space farce is real. Okay?
It's real fucking funny is what it is.
The irony, folks, I want to tell you something, too. Maybe you can go do that in front of the camera. So, I've been talking about these aliens that Jiggy challenged. I channel aliens, folks, okay? They're called the Rasta-Aryans. And ironically, you guys need to see Natasha's shirt. She's wearing... Keep going to... No, turn. Yeah, face the TV.
There you
move
go.
To your,
perfect.
She's
That's good
perfect?
right
Okay,
there.
I don't know
She's
which
right
camera.
there.
Okay.
I can see it. She's
See?
perfect.
There you go.
Rasta-Aryans.
Iriman.
She channels them too.
She
Wow,
channels
that's
them
so
too.
amazing.
I'm not the only one that channels them. And their message, hold on. Shh. Hold on. They say, hey, smoke weed every day. That's it. They have a simple fucking message. That's it.
This is the alternative research field version of being on Joe Rogan. I feel like, I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk, but I feel like Elon Musk going on Joe Rogan and smoking weed, I'm like, oh my God, this is just like anything goes. I like it.
But he
This
didn't
is
really
feels good.
smoke weed. He like fucking,
He
like
kinda
fucking, what was it Clinton who said,
pussy-toed it a
I
couple of
didn't
times.
inhale. I didn't inhale that weed. I just held it up to my lips and smoked it. Wasn't it Clinton who said that bullshit?
You know the feds investigated him for that because he runs fucking SpaceX and
all that stuff.
Nice
whatever.
meeting you guys.
Good night.
I love your robes.
They invest. Oh, I guess they're gonna investigate him. Yeah, he's got all that clearance and everything. And
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
so,
no, they reviewed his security clearance because he has SpaceX,
And then they were like, "We can't get
like
rid of
he's
this
the
dude."
first motherfucker at NASA to smoke a joint. Come on. Actually, I have a story. Here's a little side
No, he's
story.
not. What?
Not really good for anything, but just trivia. But when I lived in Southern California, I knew people who had grown up in California and SoCal around Huntington Beach and Seal Beach. There's a Boeing plant there. That's where they
Wait,
made
I've
the
been to Seal Beach.
X-37B. And near the military base there, in World War II, there was a submarine base
Well,
there.
I went there
You
last time I was in
You
California.
probably saw all kinds of UFOs over there.
There have, yeah.
No, that's
right.
funny. I went to Seal Beach and I saw. I didn't know what all that
All
structures
those
and stuff were.
bunkers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cruise missiles and shit now. And it's rumored that there are nukes there. So whenever there's a major military conflict
fuck?
overseas, the ships go to Seal Beach, California,
Mm-hmm.
load up the Tomahawks, the cruise missiles, and the nuclear tipped stuff, and they go out. And so that's a really highly secretive location. That's why you don't see anything there.
Right.
This is, for those who don't know, Seal Beach, California. It's a large military installation, but you see nothing but these huge fields that are fenced off with these big grassy hills, but that is the very top of these bunkers that store all of this artillery and stuff. And right across the street from that, and I have always theorized that there's a tunnel going from underneath. They built part of the modules for Skylab there, and they did some other stuff for NASA for the space program, the Apollo program. They built the X-37B there, which is that unmanned drone that they have flying around. And they also work on these cruise missiles and stuff. Well, as I got to know some local people in Southern California, they told me that in the 60s and 70s that the guys working on the Skylab stuff and the Apollo stuff would get bored with their work and they would leave work, go down to the beach and surf and smoke weed. And Boeing and everyone else, NASA, overlooked the weed smoking because these guys were doing like this really monotonous, like laying fiberglass or something that took a long time that they really had to focus on. They let these fuckers leave work, get high, go surfing, and then they could come back and continue their work. So, you know, that's a long story for
Better workers, shit.
criticizing them for investigating Elon Musk, but obviously...
But they're not going to... What would they say to him, though? They need that motherfucker. They're not going to do anything. Like, okay, yeah, we just had to do it because it's what we had to do it.
Hey, all I can say is until SpaceX came along, I never saw a fucking rocket return and land upright in position to be reused again. So
And now they did it with 3 recently, right?
Exactly.
Was it 3?
Two simultaneously. Or was it
Well, no,
3?
that's-
Yeah,
was
they
3, right?
did.
Wasn't
They
it triple? Yeah,
just
it
did
was-
the triple one.
They did the heavy
last week.
Yeah.
The
So they
Falcon
need that.
Heavy.
They need that
The Falcon
motherfucker.
Heavy
Shit,
with
that's
3
their boy.
fucking
They
boosters on
gave
it.
him the key to space, pretty much. He's the poster child for space right now. As much as Bezos and what's his name, Branson are like they're there, but Elon Musk, it's almost like they said, okay, you know what? We need you, but you need us at the same time. So let's do a bunch of work together.
He was going to do it
dude.
without
them, but
without him. That's what we're at the point that
course,
these people are able to do that. They're like, fuck, I built fucking, model rockets when I was a fucking kid. Now I have $1 billion. Let me build a real rocket.
Right.
And then they're like, wait a minute, because a lot of them, they're even starting to figure out, they're like, yeah, these rockets are cool, but they're only going to get me so far. Wow, because we fucking, it's fucking,
rockets.
It's just common sense. Rockets ain't going to get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But all these aliens come here on rocket ships, and all these fucking people back in the day flew on rocket ships, But yeah, it's at the point. So the government's kind of got to be like, oh well, might as well work with them instead of work against them. So, because like I said, Elon Musk's going to do it himself.
Well,
Branson's going to do it himself. Bezos is going to do it himself. He's like, what do you want to do? It's like, I'll pay off your national debt for you, and I'm just going to just leave me the fuck alone. And they'll be like, okay, yeah,
sure. There would have been a security risk 30 years ago if he'd have been smoking a joint with someone.
He would have
done
that. He would have never done that, though.
They could have killed his career with it.
They would have never.
But
he would have
since
never
he went
done
on
that.
Joe Rogan and fucking smoked a joint, and it's out in the open for everyone to see, and he was doing it in a place where it's legal to do that. He was not breaking the law. What the fuck are
but
they
they also
say?
knew he was going to be in a position to do that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they probably even spoke to him before. See, he's not going to say, "Oh yeah, they already asked me about this stuff or whatever." And that's why he probably, he didn't even smoke it. He Clintoned it. He Bill Clinton. I think he was the president who said that I just put it to my lips and I didn't inhale. That's all he did. He Bill Clinton. That's probably the most PC thing. They said, "Okay, just do that and keep it moving."
He inhaled. If you watch it, he inhales it. He wasn't used to it being a blunt and stuff.
Whatever.
Though.
They probably even
you
thought
can
it was
tell
better
that he's not a big smoker or whatever like that, because the way he looked at it and the way he hit it, he was like, whoa.
But you know whose cool points went up?
It was a blunt.
Whose
It
cool
looked like
points
the
went
way
up from
she
that
looked
too?
hitting the Fonto earlier when she first hit the Fonto. That's what Elon Musk looked like. This is a little different here.
Right. Yeah, I don't believe that was the first time weed ever touched his lips.
No,
by any
definitely wasn't the first time he's ever smoked weed and stuff.
Yeah, he might be an alien.
Probably the first time, like I said, because it's not something he does all the time, and it's not probably around people smoking blunts and everything like that all the time and shit like that. He looked like he was a little off with the blunt, because it was a blunt and everything,
Smoking
but
weed,
other than
smoking
that,
blunts,
you're in my fucking head.
Noich.
You're in my fucking head.
And that Clinton bullshit, that whole Clinton bullshit, I didn't inhale. Well, guess what? You don't need to inhale to get high. Just
I didn't have sex with that woman either.
Hold it in your mouth.
I didn't do anything.
You don't even have to hold it in your mouth for 3 seconds. Just as long as the smoke gets into your mouth and now in your bloodstream.
I didn't do it. I didn't have sex with her. She gave me fellatio.
He
That's
told
all
the
it
truth.
was.
He didn't have sex
He
with her.
didn't. She gave me fellatio. And in fact, because there was no exchange of body fluids because it ended up on her dress. I'm just saying. I didn't have sex with her. She had sex with me. Her mouth had sex with me. There's a difference.
You're good with the Clinton voice. I like that.
Oh, Bill was interesting. He was a cool president, but I still fucked up like every other president. And I hated the fact that they titled him the fucking first black president because he was because he was an adulterer. That's what that irked the fuck out of me. The fact that they said that. I never trusted him. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. Jimmy Carter was kind of a cool president in my lifetime.
I think he has demonstrated that he has integrity.
Yes. But I mean, then you had Nixon and Nixon, Ford. After Kennedy, I think Kennedy was probably the last true president who had any inkling of possibly turning the tide at the point where he saw what was about to happen, and that their integrity. See, the thing about the Kennedy is they kind of get a pass because of who they were, the younger ones, but they forget who their grandfather was and where their money comes from and all that type of shit. But at the point where I really think truly that he was the last president who saw what was about to happen. When they really started to implement their plan, and he talked about it in his speech, unlike the fucking Reagan speech that everybody quotes, which is bullshit, because he's a fucking plagiarizer about aliens, and it wasn't about aliens. But Kennedy's speech was talking about central banks and all this type of stuff, and corporations, and this shadow force. Now, when you talk about, these motherfuckers love calling secret cabals and all this type of Did you hit this?
No, it's your turn.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. And all this crazy shit and stuff, the secret cabals and all this. This is what this man was talking about. But he was talking about the true shadow force, not this fucking shit that these people make up in the Dark Alliance or whatever we call them these days. I really think
Dark Alliance, secret cabal.
Like people say that Trump isn't a fucking politician. He is a politician. He's just a different kind of politician. they're all different kinds of politicians when they become president, because one is usually this party or that party. He's with this party, but he's not really 100% with his party. If you go back and even listen to what the man said, you knew he was a politician, thought, because he said, when I run, I'm going to run as a Republican because I know that's who's going to fucking get me in. He's a politician.
Yeah. He's a few different things. A politician is one of them.
Yeah. Whatever. He's just doing it. He's doing what? Listen, anybody who is, what's the word, shock and awe about that man, I guess. I know who he was for a long time. I never liked him. I never thought he was a good person. I never liked his shows. It's not somebody this isn't me recently thinking that this dude is a bad dude. I don't want to talk politics, though, but yeah, I just understand that I've never, ever liked that dude, and I don't know too many people who ever did.
Fuck no.
So, there you go. It ain't nothing new. If you love him, you love him. Cool for you. Good for you. Ain't no hate over here. Whatever. Do you. He's the president. Good luck.
Indeed.
All these people, all of a sudden, Q and everything, and him and stuff. Oh, they're the saviors, and he's fighting the evil cabal, and they're going to go into space and fight the aliens and the evil cabal all over the universe, and we're going to take our universe back, and we're going to make it the greatest universe ever.
And they're going to drag Clinton and Obama out of their houses, and Trump's going to be the one to hang them at Guantanamo Bay.
After the secret tribunals, though. And then they're going to televise. It's going to be, what was that movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger and shit, when they televise Running Man, right?
Yes.
That's it. That's what they're going to start doing. It's going to be the new television show and shit. It's going to be called The Secret Tribunals, and it's going to be me, and I'm going to host it. You think you like The Apprentice? Wait till you see this show. It's going to be the best reality show ever.
Note to viewers.
David Wilcox will be like, Wilcox will be like, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Seacrest, like Ryan Seacrest and shit. They're gonna have David. He's gonna be the tonight's special guest. We got him all the way from the Dark Alliance, all the way from Washington D.C. He's a former president. He's black, and we hated his black ass. Tonight, you're gonna see him run through the gauntlet. And then Corey Good will be on there. He'll be the guy that fucking does the whatever. Sorry, folks.
I have seen living extraterrestrials face to face.
I'm sure he has. Looked in the mirror. Lie detector tests and everything. Who cares? I don't listen. These folks.
So I suggest that next year, for an April Fool's joke, we secretly tranquilize.
No.
David Wilcox.
No.
Listen. And we dress him up like a blue chicken and let him wake up. No, we can't do that.
No.
Okay.
No. ParanormalHooD does not endorse.
No,
dating of anybody.
Of anyone being tranquilized?
None of that. Yeah, no.
All right, let's hypnotize him and
he probably
him
does.
To
That's
like
probably. You know what it is?
I'll change
no.
scenario.
So you're thinking
We
the
will
wrong way.
hypnotize
You're
him.
thinking that you have to force someone to do something. Imagine this. That might be part of his sexual routine. He might already dress up as a blue chicken alien.
I hadn't considered that.
Corey Good.
Huh?
David Wilcox, he got kind of that bird face already going for it. That's why him and Corey Good, they're like, yeah, here we go.
But which Emery Smith is going to show up? The Emery Smith in the glamour shot, like black and white picture that he uses for everything, or the Emery Smith now, 30 years later? I don't know. See, yeah. Good luck finding him. Oh, you can find him. That's right. He'll be surrounded by security. Can't miss him.
I'm not sure I want to have receive oral sex from
We need
anyone
security
that
to
has
keep
a
the groupies
beak.
back.
I'm just saying.
A beak? Yeah, no. Maybe he just dresses up and then he takes it off when he actually, I don't know, who knows? Maybe it's just, I don't want to think about that. Never mind.
I wish, and just so the viewers know, this is when the room is foggy. I think we've kind of taken the conversation and our consciousness to that next level where
we're ascending to higher dimensions.
Yes. It's the ascension
this is ascension.
Wait.
Everybody for free.
Look down. Look out, guys. Look below us.
Whoa, where are we going?
Look, there's all the bullshit. See all the bullshit down there? It's still down there. But here's the thing, too. They keep talking about ascending. Just hurry up and ascend, please.
Just get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, seriously. You're going to leave all of us anyways, right? The rest of us who aren't. We're not going to ascend. We didn't go to ascension, the ascension school and shit of mystery. We didn't learn anything. We're not going to ascend. We're not going to go to 7D, 5D, nothing.
See you later.
Well, it's the same thing.
What do you need to ascend? Please let me know. Let me know how I can help you, other than monetarily, because I'm not giving you my fucking money, except at your events. 'Cause I like the events. They're fun. I meet a lot of cool people. So I met Mysterious force of Natasha over here. But other than that, yeah, I'm good.
I think when Virgin Galactic starts taking the public up, that David Wilcox should be one of the first to go.
Is it a one-way trip?
No, David Wilshire.
So he can meet his friends up there.
No, I've
do
got
a
to.
proper
I'm not
introduction
gonna.
and bring them
I'm
back.
not gonna send here yet because I've got to stay here to keep teaching the rest of these folks here because I don't want to leave anybody behind.
Every
you know?
good religion has a.
He wouldn't go. He's just like the flat
end of the
earther. You
world
could have a flat
end
earther
times.
right here and be like, here's a boat ticket to fucking Antarctica. They'd be like, no, I can't go. I gotta feed my cats.
You know what would be fucked up? Like if one of those movies like The 100 or whatever those things are happening and so many people leave and there's only so many people left. And if he was one of the people left, you know he'd be here like, see? I told you.
Yeah. No.
Then he'd
would
be
that
fucking
guy.
trying to stand up. It'd be like fucking The Walking Dead. He'd probably be running a cult and they'd be killing everybody else. Because, no, those folks can't come in here. We got to kill all of them and shit.
I have a pretty rich inner fantasy life of. I was deeply impacted by reading The Stand by Stephen King when I was a kid, and I think I was around 11 years old.
I read that fucking
And I
book.
started to imagine this post-humanity world where we weren't overrun with people, that there were very few people,
think a
yet
lot of
all of the
people have that
infrastructure remained. And that book, at least for me personally, was my first introduction to that kind of concept, where I put myself in the shoes of those characters and started to think about the world that way. And I have to admit, I fantasize a lot about being in a world like that, where there's like...
I do too.
You know?
Only about 10% of the people
since
that
I was about
exist
the
now
same
and all the
age.
shit, you just kind of have to figure out how to make it all work for yourself. But
I
society
actually
as we know it is
I
shut
dream
down.
I dream every night of waking up and that happens. I just wake up and all the
My problem
bullshit's
with
gone.
that-
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
You ever
Wow,
watch
look at
like
that.
The Walking Dead and all that type of stuff and
Uh-huh.
everything? It's planting in people's minds that at the end of that if there was some kind of catastrophe and a good percentage of
Yeah,
people
that
wiped
people are
out,
gonna be like
that
that.
people would not just come together, coexist, and figure out how to rebuild a civilization and
See, that's why
start
I
from
don't need
scratch.
that. I would be the guy that's way out there by
You
myself.
say that
and I'm
until
like,
them motherfuckers eventually find you. Well, we're older anyways, so I'm gonna die by the time
no,
they
because
probably
see, it's
find my
not like
ass
on
somewhere.
The Walking Dead where they only have to fucking stay in one little thing and they fucking. There's
Right.
a whole big world. If there's
Yeah.
only 10% of the people left, bye. See you
I mean,
later.
how many people say, I'm moving into Disneyland, bitches?
Yep, those people.
You can have Disneyland. I want an island.
Well, I'm not talking for me.
I want an island, but it's gotta have something
I'll
like
be
fruits
my
and
own
vegetables.
little place.
I don't eat meat.
Out
Yeah.
there, away from everybody. Maybe I'll just travel around a little bit here, there. You know, see the world, do all kinds of shit. But yeah,
Wait a minute
I
now.
dream of that post-apocalyptic
Are you gonna take
world all
a
the
cruise
time.
ship though?
Oh yeah.
That would be my question for the audience. Let's speak to the audience. If you're out there listening right now, or comment after the fact if you're not watching live. I love it. He really hit that
Could you
shit.
imagine piloting a fucking cruise ship around the world by
Do
yourself?
you
or with a few of your
fantasize
family
about
members?
this post-apocalyptic world where the infrastructure remains intact, but the numbers of people alive are greatly reduced? And, you know, like there's a Mad Max version of that, which
No.
is not so fun.
No.
And then there's more utopian versions of that, which I also think aren't as realistic.
Name one.
But there, I think it's... What?
Name a utopian one.
There's
A
got to
movie.
be a little bit
Is there
of
a good movie.
you know.
I don't have a good one.
In mine, this is always it's always a good balance. It's mostly good and stuff, but obviously you got to deal with some fuckheads every now and then. But
All the virus ones, everything, anywhere where the world is somehow changed, where there's not a lot of people left, there's usually not a good scenario. Unless they're just so isolated, which you don't really see. Because it's not a movie, all of a sudden you just see someone like the whole movie, they're like, where's everybody else? There's nobody else around, and they never find anybody. Unless it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
If I was going to toss one out, I would say Denzel Washington in The Book of Eli.
That's me. See? When you talk about relating, that's the movie I said that would be me. With my luck, some shit would happen, and my ass. See, I didn't even know he was blind. I watched that movie a few times before I even realized. Well, someone hit me to the fact he was blind. I didn't even. I was like, whatever.
Right.
But I thought he just had a message from God. But okay. But yeah, I guess
It was like almost like an M. Night Shyamalan kind of a twist at the end where you really figure out the truth of that.
Yeah. But that's I feel like that'd be me type shit. But see that chaos, like you find these people who somehow still want to capitalize on something instead of them just saying like all this fucking this water, first of all. Let's all just fucking use this water. Let's figure it out and fuck. But no, there's gonna be Roman gangs, and you gotta go find the Bible and kill people and all this type of shit. It's like fuck. Like you just hope that some shit like that did happen. Either you'd be someplace, because I'm 50, so let's say I have whatever amount of years left, I can go find my little fucking island and chill before motherfuckers figure out how to come find me.
I'm like, y'all can do that over there. Cool. Kill Leslie. Take care of the
All right, do your
bullshit.
thing, I'm out.
I thought all the bullshit was gone, but you guys can go over there with your bullshit. I'm going to be over here in the rest of the world.
I want to control something. I want to be something. Next thing you know, it's how the new civilization gets built back up in religions and all that stuff. That's probably what happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, some of these people somewhere found some of the truth. I don't know if they know all the truth. I don't know if anybody exists anywhere on this planet who knows 100% of the truth about who we are, where we came from, how we got here, what this planet is, what the universe is, what's out there. Nobody. I haven't come across one person in my life who can convince me 100% that they know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Not one.
No.
You know, it sounds great. Again, it's all reads of science fiction. It sounds good. This is what people are looking for. It's still the hopes in them. It's still Star Wars, the new hope. It's still looking for the new hope. All right, so religion didn't work for me all these years. You know, politics, everything else didn't work for me all these years. So now there's all these new ways. You can have all the crystals. You can align all the chakras you have. You can meditate all fucking day. You can be a vegan. You can be all that. But if you still have hate in your heart, if you're still a fucking asshole, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But all that shit does not make sense.
lying
And all
to
these
fucking
people,
sell
right,
your
that you're
bullshit,
lying, and all this
it
other
doesn't
stuff
fucking
that's
matter.
attached
No
to
matter
it.
how much you meditate and
It
how
shouldn't
much
matter.
fucking shit you
Monks and those people who spend their lives meditating, who don't ask anything of the world, of anybody around them, are a perfect example of, I guess, if that's what you're so ascending to be, that's almost perfection in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who could just dedicate their lives, some to silence, some to just going about their ways and not disturbing any part of the world around them.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that probably pretty much perfection and ascension would come from? Rather than somebody who sits on stage and tells you, now listen, you've got to understand. You've got to follow my plan. All these 25 years, whatever it is, it's coming together and still coming together. This dude's going to be fucking 100 years old still talking about it's coming together. If he could. You know how golf has like the senior circuit and shit? That's going to be him on the fucking paranormal field. I mean, what, isn't Von Daniken? How old is that motherfucker? No, I'm
Old.
sorry to call him a motherfucker, but how old is he? He's been making that circuit
gotta
for
be
a
in his
long
70s because
time.
Chariots of the Gods was a movie in the 70s.
It's the 70s and
But
stuff
again,
like that's what I'm saying. He's the
Where's the
That book
proof?
was like
He's, that's what I
72.
mean. David Wilcock wouldn't be here without fucking Von Daniken and Sitchin and stuff like that.
Oh,
they
right.
wouldn't have all that and stuff.
And you know something?
Those guys kicked it off, but those guys wouldn't be here without Lovecraft and shit like that.
You know what you also want to be careful of too, though? Is even some of the fucking shit that people pass off as real, like evidence and stuff, like a Phil Schneider, another person I talked about earlier, who was passing off those rocks, which were really radioactive rocks that he bought from some fucking dude, basically, that he shouldn't have had, and was giving them to people in the 70s and shit at events. And like, you know, this is alien stuff, and this is from the underground caves
You
and
know how
everything.
many? There's tons of those rocks because people used to go out to the fucking Nevada desert to the bombing sites and stuff, and literally pick up fucking radioactive rocks and stuff like that.
Right.
Fucking take them home and put them on their coffee tables and shit, and fucking eat dinner and stuff.
Yeah, they at the turn of the
Fuck is
19th
wrong
and of
with
the
people?
20th century, they were putting radioactive material on clocks. That's what glowed in the dark, but it glowed in the dark because it was fucking radioactive.
Yeah.
The first night vision, not night vision, but glow in the dark stuff, like on a clock that you saw, was literally radioactive
Thanks, guys.
material.
I had all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, so the radioactivity. Didn't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Whatever, I survived. See? Look at that. All that shit. Drank water out of a dirty hose and everything. After you played, you would just turn on the hose and drink water and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have knee pads, helmets.
Okay?
I never jumped in the harbor. Fuck that. It was illegal to jump in the Boston Harbor. If you see the harbor, the water you flew over in the airport, that was the dirtiest harbor in the fucking country for years.
Unfortunately, I was sitting between two people, and I didn't see out the window.
I always, when I fly, if I can, I always am a window seat guy.
Usually me too.
I don't care about my placement on the plane. If I can get some first class, cool. But that's not, that's just because it's privacy. But I'm not as big as I used to be either, so that's the only cool thing about flying. Because I used to be at my biggest 415 pounds. So flying wasn't good for me or anybody next to me. I literally owned a seatbelt extender.
Oh,
Bought
wow.
one off of eBay back in the day because
Oh,
I knew
wow.
when I fly, I would just be able to get in there and boom. And that was it, but don't even need it. Because my little diet that I didn't even go on, it's the best diet I never went on, has worked well for me. But yeah. The world is boring. That's what I
Let's
think.
take a look at the chat
That's
room.
I think some of it what it is too. Like I said, with some of these people too. Like some of these people they're just sitting there in awe. Like it just sounds real good. I don't even know if some of these people are really expecting aliens or anything to show up. They might just be like, this sounds really fucking cool. I just want to keep listening to this. This sounds great. It's like a movie. Like,
it's a distraction, man. It's like playing a fucking video game. It's just another fucking time-eating distraction while you're waiting for something to actually happen in your fucking life. I don't mean you personally.
Right.
I mean
instead of making something happen in your
right.
life. You know.
I mean,
there's the positivity.
We kind of have a society, not necessarily in the sexual sense, but we have a society of voyeurs now. There are a lot of people who live vicariously through the actions of others by just consuming it online, but not getting off their ass and doing anything in real life themselves.
But then their idea too could be just turn a camera on, or their idea
Lazy
of
nerds.
or they are doing something is because they're tweeting or they're doing something that's more spiteful in a sense too. They don't necessarily see. There's the thing, like people who come on videos or whatever. I don't disliking and leaving like, oh fuck you, your shit sucks kind of comments or whatever. It's like that's not a conversation. This is the problem.
Right.
If you find something wrong with what we're saying about this stuff, you should be able to have a conversation about it. Well, where's the proof?
Right.
Just have a conversation with us. You can point out stuff and we can go back and forth a little bit. I'm not going to spend my fucking time on social media days and hours at a time going back and forth with people who just want to be convinced. Some of these people just want to be convinced. It's the same with religion. If you have a conversation with someone who's very religious, they are not going to necessarily like. I got in a cab. I mean, excuse me, a Lyft the other day.
Mm-hmm.
My Lyft driver's name was Ecclesiastics.
No shit.
So as I'm getting in the lift, I'm looking at his name, and I said to him, how do you say your name? And he says, Ecclesiastic. I said, oh, wow, that's in the Bible. I knew immediately where it was from.
Right.
And he looked at me just looked like he looked through me with the most piercing eyes, like, it's French. So I said, okay, Jiggy brain surgery, or maybe I am doppelganger Jiggy, and this is the wrong universe. Maybe my information's wrong, or Mandela effect, whatever.
Oops,
Let me
wrong
look it up
universe.
again to make sure. And I looked it up and confirmed it's from the Hebrew. It's a Hebrew word from the Hebrew Bible.
Got it.
I knew this.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him, sir, so I just want to confirm that I looked it up. It is from the Bible. And he had nothing to say. So he was, clearly he didn't like his name, or he was offended by his name, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? But I related to it immediately, and I was like, okay, that's just from the Bible. See, you're well versed enough, from religion.
Mm-hmm.
You're well versed enough to, if you spent your life, doing all that type of stuff. I've said this all the time. People have told me my whole life, you should be a preacher. Why do you say that? Oh, because you'd make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for me, that's what my problem with religion was. And that's my problem with this, is that if your whole thing is to make a lot of money selling people bullshit that you don't even fucking believe in, then you're not a real person. There's nothing about you that is love, that is light, that is about anything that you should be at that you're preaching. That's not even the word of God, the Christ, whatever, the Christian Bible, or if you want to speak about Christ, whatever. You're not a Christian if all you're doing is talking shit and criticizing. You're not any religion of love and faith. If you preach that your religion is about love and faith and good things, you're none of that. If you conduct your way where you're doing all this type of stuff where it's just all about money and paving your fucking path to heaven or wherever you're supposed to get to in gold or whatever.
Right.
I just don't think that's what it's about, personally.
You're not spiritual if all you're talking
No.
about is fucking your ego. You're just stroking your ego.
Well,
your own spiritual ego.
I am completely flummoxed by how the very concept of freedom of religion has been flipped around to mean I think you need to live by the tenets of my religion, rather than leaving it to each individual to lead their lives independently.
But that's always
as
been
an
the, that's
autonomous
always been the
person.
push. The Crusades are still
And-
being fought.
Right.
Remember that. That's what the push is. The Crusades are still being fought. They will never not be fought as long in their minds. That's why. It's supposed to be about love and freedom, but that's just how everything is kind of built. There's always going to be that pushback. And everywhere you look in the world, most of these arguments and fights are a lot about religion. religious things
Absolutely.
and stuff. That's what most wars and arguments are still being fought about. In 2019, none of us have gotten it right.
Over 200 people were murdered within the last week as retaliation for the Christchurch attacks on the mosques.
Because we still haven't
So
got
there's
it
that
right.
tit for tat.
Where's the peace and love in any of that religion? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it
Oh,
been?
you mean the Easter worshippers?
Yeah.
They won't say that they were Christians or
Right.
anything like that. But if
No,
it's a
no.
Muslim attack, they're Muslim worshippers. And,
Right.
doing
Right.
the
Exactly.
Muslim thing.
'Cause
But
it's a whole-
but
it's
they're
division, it's
Christians.
play on
They're
words.
just Easter worshippers, and it's a whole nother thing.
I don't care if you're
So-
Christian. I don't care whatever religion you are. I don't care what you believe. If you want to believe in blue avians and that's your cult religion or whatever the fuck you want to be, good for you. Go for it.
I want to
knock yourself out.
I want to just a brief timeout. I just want to tell the audience, as a guest here, a visitor, that you've probably watched at least one episode of Hot Ones, where they eat the chicken wings and they do the interview. This is like Hot Ones, except you're smoking fucking blunts, okay? I'm not eating hot chicken wings, but I've got a fucking blunt in my face every 10 seconds.
Hey,
And
hey.
so that is the challenge of being on Paranormal
Smoke
Hood.
weed
There are
every
no
day.
chicken wings involved, but there are fucking blunts involved. And
Excuse me.
That's what this is. This is a marathon conversation with blunts the whole time.
In the words of T'Challa, when it comes to chicken wings, we don't do that here.
no more.
Sorry. Yeah, we don't eat chicken wings here. Sorry. You can smoke blunts though all day. You can eat chicken wings if you wanted to though. You go. Yes, there you go. Natasha
else
Cam,
hit it?
Natasha Cam, Natasha Cam, Natasha Cam, Natasha Cam. Everybody hit that? All you smokers? Did everybody inhale? Did everybody take a hit of the blunt? Yeah, that's kind of.
I'm being bad.
Around here. You say?
I said I'm joking.
You're having fun.
I wonder if anyone who
are you at
watches
the
my
po-
show surprised. They should.
I just want to see the point where you say it's the highest you've ever been. The best is like we've caught people like as the show's ending and we turn the board down and I won't say his name, but he's in it. He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm so fucking high right now. Like it's a compliment though, like the experience.
No, absolutely.
And the thing is, anybody who doesn't understand weed, like it doesn't make us any less of, take away the ability to speak and talk about the same stuff we've been talking about for years. This is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. If you call all these investigators, you call yourself an investigator the same way you would investigate ghosts, the same way you would investigate demons or a haunted house or a haunted location. If you're into this other stuff, because these worlds have collided, I've watched them collide. I've watched how the two have kind of merged. So if you're invested into this stuff too, you should be investigating the same way, doing the same due diligence as you would any kind of a paranormal investigation any other way, because it's paranormal. It's talking about aliens.
Everything's
it's talking all this
paranormal.
shit. Everything.
Word.
Let's play that in the background lightly, see? If y'all like the theme song, it's available on all platforms. And actually, just so you know, again, that goes to the artist, SOTOV, however you follow them. It's on Spotify, all that type of stuff. You can bump this in your car in the summer. See?
Word.
A real paranormal song for all you paranormal lovers.
By the way, I'll say it on the air. The professor, Michael, says hello, my associate producer. He wanted me to specifically say hi to you guys. I'll give a shout out to Pursuing X.
Give a shout out.
Isn't this what you want your brand associated with right here? No?
I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be cool. We don't get sponsors. I don't know what it is. It's
Well,
funny
they
'cause
have clients. They're a marketing firm.
the irony is the pushback. A lot of what we got is just because of we were smoking weed before it was popular to smoke weed. We were saying a lot of this shit before it was popular to say this shit, and because again, I'm not putting on a suit and tie to go speak in front of. I spoke at Conscious Life Expo. Same stuff I talked about here. I didn't bash anybody because there were some of those people there speaking or whatever. That's not what I did. I just went there and talked about my experiences, who Paranormal Hood is, psychedelics, which some of the crowd was blown away by. Because like, damn, cool. No one else talked about psychedelics here all weekend. So, just brought something different to the table.
Yeah, the Conscious fucking Life Expo. Nobody talked about psychedelics.
Yeah,
It's all weekend.
No, I get. Well, maybe one other person they said, but I guess that wasn't really the theme. The theme was a lot of. I don't know. There was different people talking about different stuff, but
You want to expand your consciousness.
What do you think
wanna,
that
you want to see some shit?
Do you think that the representation at the conventions and gatherings is skewed? And I have a friend, Laura in Cincinnati, Laura Mormon. She, in conversation, mentioned to me that I talked about where are all the young people at? Why isn't anyone in their 20s into this subject or into these topics? And she's like, that's not it. People that are younger are interested, but it's the older people that actually have the money to travel, book a room, pay for the weekend ticket, pay for the meals. You know what I mean? It's the older people that have disposable income to afford these types of events that show up. So in terms of like who's taking a look at this information online,
I
for
disagree.
instance,
These kids are going to Coachellas. They're going to.
It's a little different. Contact in the Desert was different, but in Phoenix, Phoenix is the International UFO Congress. It's changing venues this year because they've outgrown the old one. And they were at the Weekapaw Resort, but now they're moving downtown to the Marriott.
All grow.
And it was a lot of old people. I mean, attended by a lot of old people.
Well, that's
and there's a lot of old people in Phoenix. I mean, that might skew the turnout a little bit. But, what I always wanted to see was younger people into this. But then that was before I even knew ParanormalHooD existed. I didn't know who CW was. That all this shit came about because I started doing a show. I didn't know about all these people. I was like you. I didn't. Joe from the Carolinas, dark journalist. I'm like, who the fuck is that? What are you talking about?
CW is a plethora of information.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He made sure
CW
to shout
and Kelly
people out.
Farmer.
Yeah. Explaining esoterica. That's the cool thing is, again, you said a hip and meet people, and it made it so we understood now there's still people in the community, too, who are saying, okay, there needs to be more voices and other people talking about some of this stuff and looking it in the face and not just being, yeah, this woo-woo is really cool. Like, woo, this all sounds great. It just,
woo,
yeah,
woo.
No.
Woo-woo.
So that's what you say for a while, and then you're like, wait a minute.
And I'll say, again, I don't blame, when you're watching TV, you cannot blame these people on TV. The same thing when it comes to ghost shows in some cases. Yeah, some of them are fucking really, really off the hook, and some of these people are just beyond. What the fuck were we watching the other day with Baggins? The fucking scariest thing ever, whatever bullshit. And this dude is just so over the fucking top, whatever. And I've been critical of him since day one. But a lot of these shows existed where some of these people legitimately wanted to be investigators, tried to investigate, but there's a lot of hands that take this stuff and edit it and change the finished product. And their contract, they're going to get their money. The only way they're going to get their money is allow them to put out what they put out. Same thing with music and everything. So when you're looking to these people expecting answers, when you're watching Ancient Aliens and taking that as gospel, good luck. Giorgio Tsoukalos, cool dude, cool hair, met him, nice guy and everything. But if you think that what they're pushing on Ancient Aliens, just because it's on the History Channel, is anything real history, good luck.
Well, it's a lot of titillating
it's all based off
teasing.
of Eric Von Daniken and Zachariah Stitchen's work.
And Coast to Coast AM and all these other stuff and Gaia and a lot of stuff.
Well,
people are pushing.
They endlessly pose questions. What if? What about?
Yeah.
Does it appear? But there are no answers. There is no disclosure, as it were.
But you know what I find funny, too? Is that they don't want... Gaia follows us on Instagram, ironically.
Do they?
And remember, I've been to a lot of these events. I've had lunch with some
Interesting.
people. I've met a lot of people. So I know who radar, who knows we exist. I'm not saying they follow us to watch us or they like what we're doing, because there's no, as much as we've gotten offers from the paranormal
I
side.
follow a lot of people and I fucking hate what they're doing, but I'm just following them because that's what I do. Is I'm investigating, I'm researching,
But
and
what I'm
seeing
saying
what's
is,
out there
it
and
gives
what the
them the
fucking bullshit.
opportunity to see a way to say, you know what, maybe our channel doesn't have to exist and just be one-sided. You know, that maybe that there's a way to bring some of these other people in and just tone them down, but say, let's have a conversation that's kind of back and forth or whatever. They're not going to do that. I get that, because that doesn't really serve their purpose.
Well, no, because see the way why they wouldn't is because their side is the other side, you know, compared to the mainstream. You know what I mean? This is
but you know that these people
so that
know
we're not
that-
one-sided because we are the other side, you know. So that's what their whole thing is, you know.
I don't think. I have to speak honestly here. I don't think my show, your show, I don't think any of us pose a real threat to them. And the reason we don't, now I think when people hear what we say, they recognize the truth and they appreciate someone saying that. But I don't think we pose a threat because they have millions of dollars in marketing at work.
Yeah.
And, you know, these alien cons, the Pasadena Alien Con, Baltimore, and now there's some more coming up this year. Listen to me, people. The fucking Gaia TV people own that shit. Now the people with the programs are the promoters and producers of some of these events. It was Conscious Life Expo. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I may have misspoke. It's not like I haven't smoked 5 fucking blunts.
I think it's more than that.
But Conscious Life Expo was ran by Gaia TV. So now what you have is, it's almost, the business model is like Clear Channel, right? They're like, oh, we don't want to just own all the radio stations and decide what makes it on the air. We want to own all the venues so that they get it from front to back. They get a say in who gets signed, whose music gets on the air, whether they get to tour, what arenas and what outdoor sheds they get to tour in, if at all, because it's all owned by Clear Channel or iHeartRadio now, actually. iHeartRadio is so much more beneficent sounding than Clear Channel. So they changed their name, iHeartRadio. It's so sweet. But they own the radio stations, the podcasting, they own the venue, the promotion. So top to bottom, they're creating fans of content. They're telling you who to listen to. This is what's cool. Guess what? They're coming to town next month, and we're going to sell you a ticket. Guess what? We're also going to get a piece of that $7 beer you bought at the show because, you know, hey, we need a piece of that too, and the T-shirts, and the content that gets put on the video games or during the credits of movies. So they get their hands deeply in this. And Gaia TV wants to do that for this world, okay? They want to put their shows on there. They want to get your subscription money. They want to build an agenda of a message that they want you to hear. Then they want you to show up in Pasadena and Baltimore or wherever the fuck else and meet the people that you see on TV. Meet the celebrity. Get your get your signed headshot. Get your selfie with them. And I have a lot more respect. I'm not going to jump tracks too much, but I have a lot more respect for the authors, someone who actually sat down and wrote a book. Even if the book is garbage, at least they fucking did something and they produced something and they're trying to sell it, and I have a lot more respect for that. But, you know, these TV shows that are creating, like, paranormal celebrities for fucking nothing. Like, they don't achieve anything. They don't answer any questions. There is no disclosure. There are no answers. They endlessly pose questions and tease you and titillate you with the what ifs while never giving an answer and never giving you the satisfaction that you want from following these topics.
You know what they are?
So that's what Gaia TV is trying to do. They're trying to do what iHeartRadio did to radio. They want to fucking do it to UFOs and Bigfoot.
But some of these people are bands who are still touring off of one album all these years later. You know how there's people who just tore off of that one album? That one song every
exactly. The thing you said, some of the books and the authors, see, with this community, no, because a lot of them are just regurgitating Sitchin and all these other stories just over. There's nothing new added to it. It's just their new. They might have put a new word in and a new thing, and it's my new name, and I put this book together with this stuff so that people can read it about these Anunnaki that, you know, Zachariah Sitchin talked about and Eric Von Daniken talked about and everything, and it's just the same story with a different author attached to it.
Right, there are exceptions, and
so
when
there's
there's
a lot of them in this.
No, for clarity, I can name names: Laird Scranton.
Yeah,
Richard
there are
Dolan.
some. There are.
There's
there
a certain set of people that I feel like are legit.
Which those ones are, I would say, are a lot smaller. Section of it.
Right, like, you know, if Henry Smith came out with a book next week, I would know that, you know, it's just nothing but condensed toilet paper.
Yeah,
you know,
a whole bunch of stories.
Consider the source.
A whole bunch of other stories and a whole bunch of insiders. My insiders keep telling me. My insiders. Oh, fuck your insiders. Oh, my goodness.
Insider? insider.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't even know her.
These dudes.
I hope some of my friends watch this. They'll understand me. I don't know what your viewers are going to think of me.
Oh, they'll understand.
Shit, they understand. They understand us. If they're watching again, they've braved it. If people have sat to this point, they pretty much, if you've been here before, you know who we are. You know how we talk. This is nothing fucking new. And if it's new to you, and I don't think anybody's offended. If you are, well, sorry. This is just how you're supposed to have a conversation. Smoke a little weed and just speak candidly about topics. Because these people, it sounds real good. It looks real good in movies and on paper and stuff, and it's always coming. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine if you had a partner who came that much?
It's you.
But
They've been waiting for Jesus to come back for 2,000 years.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Allah,
fuck, if I got to listen to David Wilcock fucking for the next 2,000 years to ascend? Fuck my life.
Even God. Like, at this point, like, like God was probably like, you know what? He probably created a bunch of shit. Why you would think that whoever created all this stuff created just us anyways? There's probably a bunch of universe. He probably ain't checking in on none of them. He probably, it's like, you know how you just kind of, like, people sometimes just grow stuff and just leave it there and let it just grow?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have, and just water it occasionally, whatever. He probably doesn't even give a fuck. He probably just moved on, like he's somewhere else creating something.
You
on
know,
shit.
artists have a whole fucking house full of paint. There's just paintings everywhere and shit that they painted it and they just put it in the pile.
We're just in a
That's what God
terrarium
is.
somewhere.
He's just like, oh, here's a universe. Oh, there we go.
But we're
Here's
probably in, like,
another
his
universe.
fish tank. We're probably like his fish, like a terrarium, whatever you call it. Like, you know, it's an ecosystem and everything. It's probably what we're in. Fuck a flat Earth and all that. Yeah, you know what? The Earth probably is flat because at the bottom, it's the fucking bottom of the fucking fish tank and shit. That's what it is, folks.
It's the heating pad under the gravel.
That's what it is. The ice wall is actually fake. It's made of that fake shit you put in fish tanks, whatever. It's not even ice. It's that material. He just dropped it in and it just floated.
And our whole civilization is like the little empty castle that the fish swim in through the door and out the window.
Pretty much. Yep. We're not leaving our solar system anytime soon.
No.
They're worried about Mars and shit. It's not like, you know, let's build
the weed hasn't affected our concepts at all. Huh?
What?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I thought
I'm just being a smartass.
I thought somebody said it in the chat.
No, no. I want to comment. This is a lot of fun because when I do my show, I'm a lot more regimented. You know, I made it that way. I'm not. It's no one's fault, but I'm always like, you know, start the song. I'm watching the clock. I'm moving the questions along. Like, I have an agenda on my show, and it is so much fun to sit here and not worry about the clock, not worry about trying to advance a conversation or say the right thing. It's really refreshing to be able to just sit here, be myself, talk to you guys, get to know you in person, and for this not to just be some abstraction online, but to physically be here with you. And I don't know, I just want to let you guys know I have a lot of respect for you, and I have a lot of respect for what you do. And I really, truly, genuinely appreciate being here. This is a blast, and I'm so glad I came.
Thank you.
This is good.
Glad to have
These
you.
guys are the real deal. This is a real thing right here.
Right. We're only human. Flesh and blood. A man. We're only human. We're all human. We're just trying to figure it out. The whole point is to be investigators. And we'd be flawed as investigators if we didn't go. We've watched, but just even the paranormal side, like watching investigators and stuff, and it's like, hear that, guys? And they run and shit, you know, and you're running. You're an investigator. That's what you went there for.
Mm-hmm.
There's lights coming. Run away from the lights. Why are you running away from the lights? Things like that. It does not make sense. You're not investigating. So the same thing with all this type of stuff. We're running towards the light. We hear the boom. We're going towards the boom. It doesn't look right. Doesn't smell right. We're going to go towards it. And that's the problem that most of these people have. They don't want anyone, because they're so used to being in a position all these years of no one, but there have been people who've questioned it, but there's been no real pushback. They continue to just keep spinning new shit. There's new shit. It's still coming. Just keep waiting. And you got to go to my mystery ASS Ascension School. Just leave, please. Let us know what we can do to help you with your ascension. I'm not giving you anything monetary. But if there's something I can do, some kind of meditation or chant or something that will help you to quickly ascend with you and your followers, bye. Cool. Then we'll get out. Maybe that's what it will take. Maybe they really will ascend. And you'll get your wish, and they'll have people who want less people to be less people because they'll ascend, they'll leave. But then, wait, aren't we supposed to go to a prison planet though? But whatever. Maybe they got the rules fucked up. Maybe they weren't right. We just get stuck here. This is the prison
fucking
planet.
missed Ascension School, dude.
Did anybody go to Ascension? I wonder, does anybody know anybody who attended the Ascension Mystery School?
Oh,
Hey, that'd be the thing to do.
I'm
Find
sure I
someone
can
who
find
has.
somebody.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I just like someone who tell me what.
I like how you're thinking.
Oh, but he may have been at like Fight Club type shit, like
Oh yeah.
the
I'm
first
sure
rule of
you'd
Fight Club.
You'd be paying all that money and you signing some kind of fucking.
Yeah, you can't go and start telling people this now because everyone's going to want to jump on the bandwagon when we get together in Hawaii and drink the Kool-Aid together. Did I say Kool-Aid? I'm sorry. When we get to Hawaii and drink what's the drink there? Is there a drink that they drink in Hawaii? Whatever that
Pineapple
tropical drink,
juice, baby.
Yeah, when we drink the pineapple juice together and celebrate our ascension as it begins, when because Mount Killer, whatever, and the Himalaya is going to explode and everything, we can leave. They'll all be stuck here. Good luck drinking that Kool-Aid. I remember how it worked out for Jim Jones's folks. I remember how it worked out for those people. Maybe the people who ascended, maybe they did ascend to the Hale-Bopp comet. You know what, though? We'll never know. We'll never know. Maybe Jim Jones and his folks, maybe he was, whatever, because didn't he die with him?
No.
He didn't die with him?
No,
Jim Jones didn't die with
the mass suicide in Guyana in 1978 or 79 was completely separate from the cult in San Diego.
I know the
that lived
Hale-Bopp
in the
comet.
house.
Yeah, I know. I was just referencing both of them.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. Sorry, I'm stoned. I'm fucking
I'm just letting
high.
you know. I know what I'm talking about.
All right, okay.
I'll be
we're
knowing.
Good. We're good. I didn't think you didn't.
Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me I speak well.
No.
Remember that conversation? That was a fun conversation.
Yeah, that was. No.
But did Jim Jones die? Didn't he drink the Kool-Aid too?
Yeah, the Kool-Aid came from Jim Jones. Here's my connection with that. Jim Jones is from a little town just north of where I was born and where I grew up in Indiana. And that I've actually driven by the house he was born in several times. I didn't know that house was that at the time, but I do know it now. And it's Crete, Indiana. And it's like literally this 2-lane road goes through there and there's a grain silo and like 3 or 4 houses. And that's actually Crete, Indiana. It's near Lynn, Indiana, if you would care enough to even fucking look it up on a map. But anyway, my dad knew Jim Jones's sister, and I once worked with a guy whose daughter had been part of the Jim Jones cult, and he had actual physical cassette tapes of Jim Jones preaching and talking, and he brought this into work, and I heard it one day. So Jim Jones worked in the hospital that I was born in at around the time I was born. I don't know if he was employed there at that time, which would have been 1965. But Reed Memorial Hospital in Richmond, Indiana, my grandmother worked there, and Jim Jones worked there for a while. And they got their first church going there around Richmond and Lynn, Indiana. And then at some point decided to relocate to San Francisco, where they formed the People's Temple proper. And then they created a intentional community of sorts down in Guyana. But it was really a lot of drug use on the upper end, on the Jim Jones end of things, and sexual abuse and all kinds of, obviously everyone knows. So he had everyone trained to fucking drink the Kool-Aid. That's where that comes from. It's, they force-fed the Kool-Aid to people and to children that didn't want to take it, and over 900 people died, and blah, blah, blah. But you can imagine when all that went down, and I was a younger person, but definitely old enough to be watching the news and stuff, how a lot of media attention kind of hit that area, because that's where Jim Jones was from. And then just knowing my dad knew his sister and having heard the tape from the coworker at one point, just kind of drove all that home. So, I always thought, I mean, who wants to be associated with Jim Jones? But, you know, you go down the hallway in the school and you're like, fucking Jim Jones walked down this hallway. Or, you know, Jim Jones worked in the fucking hospital where I was born. He might have known my grandmother. My grandmother might have eaten lunch with Jim Jones. Like, you never know. Like, you know, that's entirely possible.
Should I tell
This
you
was a
something?
kind of a small town.
Remember this, too, though. You're in Massachusetts right now. We had a conversation about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Just remember all the shit that went on here.
Yeah.
All the shit and how most of this stuff started here. There you go. No matter where you go, no matter where you're probably walking, you're walking over something that we just don't know all the history. We know the history that's been told to us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who was here before them, who was here before them, who was here. When you're doing a paranormal investigation, we don't know where ghosts could be everywhere.
Right.
Not just where they tell you they are, just where they say that they're the consistent ghosts for some reason, whatever. Lizzie Borden's still swinging the same old axe. Penhurst and all these places, those people still walk those hallways, whatever. All these demonologists and deliverance, I guess these ghosts. Lizzie Borden, no one has released her to the light yet.
Right.
Like no one can go help her out.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing with all these people. All these people preaching all this love and light and stuff. You don't see any of these people doing any real charitable work and stuff with what they're doing. It's all about themselves. They're on all these elaborate vacations, but they're running from the fucking law. Listen. I've been a bodyguard, security and stuff. I've told you some of my resume and stuff. I don't even talk about all the people I've encountered and worked with and for and done over these years and stuff.
You're a professional and you have discretion.
Well, no celebrities won, and I know how they live. You know, I have rare inside looks at some people's lives and stuff and how they function and stuff. And when they're paranoid, and they're paranoid, but they're paranoid about, imagine this, they're paranoid about fans.
Mm-hmm.
These people are paranoid about a secret cabal that's so powerful. They have spacecraft and space and are doing work all over the planet and have age regressing and med beds and all this type of shit and stuff.
Right.
But they can't seem to take the Three Stooges out. No matter what they try, all they can do is give them flus and colds and headaches and all this type of stuff. My brain, I've had an aneurysm that burst. You know what I'm saying? Was that the secret cabal? Were they after me? Is there some hidden information? Was Jiggy part of something? Really? Come on. Seriously, the Three fucking Stooges, secret space farce and all this type of stuff, but not an ounce. All these years of evidence. Just a lot of talk. It sounds real good. Again, I've seen all the sci-fi movies. Have you seen the movies? I'm going to go see Endgame. You going to see Endgame?
Yep.
Yeah. I bet you there's so much. These guys are probably like licking their fucking chops. They're probably going to be fucking first in line with their popcorn.
I can't
wait.
There. Dave, there's going to be a video right after the coming up next week. And,
see, what happened was he's going to get sued again by Mara.
He's not going to. He doesn't do it like that. He's going to be.
It's
about
the other one that's getting
he's
sued
gonna be
by
like,
Marvel.
He's going to be like, it's like Endgame. The Endgame's here, just like the new Marvel movie, you know. And they were in the quantum realm, and that's part of Ascension. And he's gonna use that. He's like, and they have to put it out there, and it's in your face, and they put this stuff out there so you can see it.
The gauntlet.
That's what Hollywood does. It's
you see the stones, the chakras. They're all being aligned for Ascension.
It's all metaphors
Ascension.
for real things that are happening.
Ascension.
It's all happening now.
Are you ready for 74D? QAnon. What D is it going to be? Who's getting the D? I'm not getting the D. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm not getting the D. I'm good. Y'all can get whatever dimension you want to go to. Again, goodbye. Have fun. Peace and love on your journey. I hope wherever you go on your ascension, when you guys disappear or float away, however it works, or the AV blue spavians, what are they?
The blue
avians, chicken birds, or the triangle, the gold triangle heads. What are they? Isn't it the gold triangle heads?
That's legit their names.
The reptilians.
There's the golden.
The Pleiadians.
This is the new one. Anybody else heard this? The golden triangle beams.
Yeah, have you heard about that?
That's what they're called.
I have not heard that.
Yeah,
that's new to me.
They're legit a golden triangle with a real skinny ass fucking like pencil body.
Yep.
And that's what they're called.
This
is what they call themselves. The same thing with the Blue Avians. They showed up. They're like, hey, we're the Blue Avians. Yeah.
I wonder if that's how they
talk
too.
You guys don't know anything that we're fucking saying right now, but you know.
What happens in the hen house stays in the hen house.
We know what goes on in the head house.
I love it. I love the dog. The dog was perfect.
Hold on. I can go all day with this. There you go.
Wait. Hold back on the next animal. Hold on. And now a word from my mother-in-law. I didn't really mean that.
Yeah, I hope she's not listening, right?
Chances of that are slim to none.
Okay.
My mother-in-law would be like, "What in the hood?"
Ah, you gotta speak up.
See, I got a sound effect for everything. Isn't that fucking awesome? I hope you guys are enjoying it. Are we doing our last one?
I like it.
Are we done?
We did the last one, but
If my
All
wife...
right, we're going to do a last one, folks.
We'll do one more.
Last one?
Yeah, we're going to do the last blunt. Anybody have any questions for
pretty
Natasha?
fucking high.
No? You're pretty high?
I
If
am
you're in the
very
chat,
fucking
whatever you have
high.
any questions, please hit up the chat. She's sitting
Yeah, I'll
into
look.
the chat. But it's just, listen, I'd love to have conversation with these folks. I'm not going to contact in the desert to sit down and try to be disruptive. It's not my thing. I don't really care. That's not what I do. I go to link up with friends. I make new friends. I like events. I like meeting new people. I like seeing what's going on. And some of these people, it's the 70-30 rule. There's 30% of some legit shit going on. There's some great vendors at these events. I got to try. There was a whole vegan section of food and stuff. There was just different people with different things. That stuff is all cool and everything. There's also great speakers. So you can't just knock an event. You're like, fuck that, I'm not going to go to the event. You know, there's some great speakers who are speaking some truth
30%
in
of the
there too.
speakers are good. 70% of them.
You have choices and stuff too. That's it. And you don't have to just be like, fuck it, I'm not going to go.
You got to discern. Use your judgment.
But this is our platform. So that's why I say I'm not going to go those places to have these conversations with anybody. I'm not going to try to interview them somewhere there. And if they want to have a conversation, we're here. We've always been here. Next, the week after, because Kelly Farmer will be on next, and then it will be our 6-year anniversary. We've been here for 6 years. We've had some great guests. And again, this is what I said to you, Natasha, is that it doesn't have to be that every guest has to just also be. It's almost like it kind of goes with politics right now. How there's the inability to have a conversation. There's always like the left-right paradigm. So it's the same thing with the show. It doesn't also have to be that everything has to be the same conversation over and over again either. Some guests bring something new to the table. Some people you just have a conversation with. Maybe they hit you up, but have they listened to the show? And well, through your content, I feel like I'd be a good guest because of, okay, well, cool. Let's come on the show. Let's talk.
Right.
And somebody might come on and have a conversation that could be about psychedelics.
Mhm.
You've had comedians and different things on. We've had different people on this show.
Right.
It just happens that for us, it's our credo that everything is paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had astrophysicists on the show, we've had just random people who say that they're a psychic or whatever, or they have this ability, or they feel like they have a message, whatever. You just kind of run a gamut. And it's not about just pushing all those people away either. I think it creates for good content. But we also have the ability, because there's two of us, to sit here and have a conversation. I think what you do with your chat, because your chat listeners and stuff are very engaged too, allow you to have a show. I think that's what we try to do. It's kind of hard because we do have a full conversation, but to look at the chat, see what people are saying.
I'm doing all that.
Yeah. But
see what I do all night.
And rolls blunts.
I roll blunts. I'm watching the time. I'm watching everything over here, making sure everything's
By the way,
good.
I want to say I've never had a blunt rolled in what you're using. Is that just nothing but a
Yeah,
pure
it's just
tobacco
it's
leaf?
just a big tobacco leaf.
That's
yeah.
what I thought.
And you
I just want to make
cut
sure I
off a
didn't
piece,
misrepresent it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a packet of it's just a tobacco leaf, and he's
doing his thug dizzle.
He is. Wow, am I back in Arizona?
Are you?
No. I heard yeehaw.
Oh, wow. You hear that a lot in Arizona?
Oh, fuck.
Wow. The reason I want to go to Arizona too, though, on a more of a paranormal note, is that there's a lot of, like desert towns and abandoned towns and stuff.
Ghost
I've heard
towns
about.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'd like to see some of that stuff. There was actually, I spoke to Cool K earlier, who's been here since the beginning. In the very beginning, there was a woman named Diane Carney, I think her name was. I used to call her Lady Di. But she was from Arizona. So
Mhm.
in my closet, I actually have a box of old, native arrowheads and pottery pieces and stuff that she found, in one of these old areas or whatever, because she used to go out to these old desert towns and tell me about this stuff and all this paranormal stuff. So I've always wanted to go there anyways. But like I said, as I've been there, it's always been for, one time for pleasure, but other times were for work. So I never really got to sense all the paranormal hood stuff kind of venture out there. So it'd be a good reason to go there. Because like even Vegas, like I go to Vegas, I don't want to go fucking gamble. I want to go out to the desert somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just kind of, you know, where we're at. We're investigators. I want to investigate some shit. And we like to urban investigate as well. You know, see some of those old towns. You may not necessarily be there to do an investigation, but just to see some of that stuff is actually cool, and the history. And you never know, you might come across a ghost or a squatter.
No, yeah. No, it's totally possible.
Or Saturn worshippers. We came across Saturn worshippers.
Yeah?
Satin worshippers.
Satin?
Satin.
People who wore like satin pants?
I guess we don't know, but there was a pentagram and everything. So
but it was hail satin.
Yeah, it was hail satin. So yeah, the
That's
illiterate
awesome.
motherfucker.
Satan.
Oh, you want to see that? That's gonna be
Satan,
that episode will be on Amazon Prime soon.
I love it.
Hail satin. I was like, damn, I didn't know satin was a bad thing because, you know, I used to have satin sheets and stuff. And I never remember the satin sheets, like, doing anything bad to me and giving me nightmares. Well, I did have bad nightmares, but that wasn't because of the satin sheets, but I'm just saying.
The hot ones of pot smoking right here. That's what this is. This is like the last wing where they put the extra dab on. And now we put a dab in.
It's like hot boxing and then smoke boxing. Kind of all, yeah, that's kind of like what they do.
A little bit.
There's some dope podcasts. That's the great thing about podcasts, too, because you could just go and find people who aren't always like, there's like the Mike Tyson podcast, Hot Boxing, and then B Rails podcast, which is smoke boxing, and they're just having cool conversations. So, and it's just basically YouTubing and podcasting and different things, but hot boxing I dig. Hearing Mike Tyson, like where he is now and stuff, and where he did psychedelics, so he did the Toad.
Oh.
DMT, 5-MeO DMT, I think it is, right?
He licked the toad.
He did the toad. So he's got a great perspective on things. So there's also, like I said, there's so many conversations you can have that are paranormal because thanks to Smoke King, listen, Jiggy, you go back a couple years before this summer, well, it'll be 2 years ago, 2017, when I did psychedelics voluntarily. I did DMT first, right there, twice on that couch.
Oh, wow.
And it changed. It's like what Mike Tyson for the DMT did for him. It changed my perspective on things.
Right.
And especially on the paranormal stuff. And it also opened up my eyes when I was like, whoa, like this, what the fuck are these people talking about? Like, I've seen some shit that makes more sense than anything that they're talking about and everything. And I get the connections and spirit and energy and love and everything, but all the other bullshit, like, where the fuck are these aliens they're talking about? And the history of man that we know about still in all these years.
Clockwork elves and shit like that.
I don't know if I saw the Clockwork Elves on DMT. I don't know. They talk about that. I don't know what that is. I'd have to do a little bit more listening to kind of understand. But my experiences were very cool. And the only thing I can liken my experience to on DMT was death. Like when my brain exploded and shit. Like it was literally the same thing. Like that's why, for me, it was so real and it was so eye-opening. Because it was the only thing that put me in the same place I was at that point.
Right.
Nothing else in my life since then has done that. I hope not. You know, I don't want that to happen again, dying again like that and under such circumstances. But this was the closest thing that put me in a sense of understanding a little bit more for myself. I don't have any answers to anybody else what death is, but also where psychedelics take you and my place, because I don't want to speak for anybody else, in the universe and beyond.
Clockwork Elves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a painting by Alex Gray.
But his artwork represents
called Meta Being.
That represents the DMT beings, the Clockwork Elves, whatever they are. The closest thing to anything that I've ever seen anybody draw and stuff is what you see. Not just in DMT. Well, because you didn't do the high as high as where I've gone, and especially with when I went over to Willie Michael and I blasted off over there and stuff like that. And with the mushrooms, really high doses of mushrooms and LSD, you'll see psychedelic stuff like this, like similar to this, and you'll see beings similar to this. Not exactly like this, but this is like the closest representation, and his psychedelic artwork is probably the closest to the psychedelic world compared to a lot of other stuff and everything like that.
Yeah, I was going to his place in the Hudson Valley in the winter when I got snowed out and couldn't go. I wound up going to the 9/11
that's right. Yeah,
memorial.
you got snowed out in New York. Right?
I was going there to his place.
Yeah, I want to go there too.
And
I'm waiting for it to be all done and everything.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
the
they're
whole
still
thing's all
collecting
day. I know
funds.
they do stuff there all the time.
COSM, the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors.
Once the whole thing is all done and everything, I'll probably go there. But yeah, his artwork, like I said, is and stuff. And then his wife there, Alice Gray, her stuff too is similar to his, but there's this writing that you see on DMT, and you see it on mushrooms and acid. It's been a long time since acid, but really, especially on like 5 dry grams of psilocybin mushrooms, you start to see this ribbon and these things and these letters are coming down, and they're not letters that we know of, like they're just these symbols and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's really good at painting pictures with these symbols and stuff that come out and during these psychedelic things, and they're pretty goddamn accurate. She's the closest one that I've ever seen that comes up. People talk about some symbols, but hers is like really close, so that you know that these people are really going deep in their psychedelics and stuff, like places where I've gone, the real psychonauts go and stuff, not these fucking let's go to the festival and Coachella and I got a half a gram of mushrooms.
Right. I got a hold of a copy of the
Natasha at 11:11, you got a message from KB. Love you, Natasha. Much love from Texas.
Oh.
I just wanted to point out it was an 11:11 message.
Oh wow.
It's on there. You can see it on thing. Sorry.
Oh no. I what was I gonna say?
Aren't those angel messages? Or is that money messages? You gonna get paid? You about to hit the lottery? You better play lottery while you're here.
I like it.
Hit the lottery.
I'm so high that I completely forget what I was gonna say, which is.
Oh, I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm not talking like Alex Jones. This is actually how my voice sounds after I smoke 7 goddamn blunts here on Paranormal Hood.
Did you say 7? Is that it?
I don't know. I just guessed. I didn't literally mean that. It was just a bit.
I know. I was trying to figure out if it was 7. I thought it might be more.
The globalists will not win.
Oh, no, we're at 10.
10.
10 blunts?
Yeah. Isn't X 10?
Christ.
Isn't that 10? X, right?
Wow. Fuck. Wow.
Brandon, are you 21 plus? You gotta make sure of legal age.
The time didn't fly. The time didn't fly during this show. The time fucking stopped. About
the time
4 blunts in.
The time always stops here because the time is always now here. So it's the only time it could possibly be, and it's now.
See,
it's always now somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're not snake oil salesmen either. We can tell you how to time travel right fucking now. You ready?
Sure.
Welcome to the future.
Wow.
Welcome to the future.
It's so.
Hi, welcome to the future.
It's marginally better than
welcome
the past.
to the future. Hey, guess what? It's the future. It's the future.
It's here.
And we're not charging you for any of that. I channel aliens. Wait, I channel the cartoonians. Hold on.
I do.
Hold on, please. The cartoon.
Okay.
Oh.
Elmo loves to play.
Meep meep.
I love it.
Channel aliens and everything.
I was going to say, I think you should make hoodies that say Paranormal Hood, and when you sell them, you can call them Paranormal Hoodies.
You mean like the thing that I'm wearing?
Yeah, but I'm looking for an excuse to say Paranormal Hoodies. You missed the point.
Well, yeah, we are the hoodies. HOODEEZ.
Oh, are you? Is that your... Okay. Yes. All right. I didn't know that.
Yes. We are the paranormal voice of the hood.
Since I've been on your show proper, am I an official hoodie?
Yeah. You've been in the God of Knowledge studios, too.
Yeah.
And you spoke. You didn't fall asleep, either.
No, fuck no. And I hung tough. I stayed right with you guys there.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you kind of, sometimes like a, that quick puff pass.
I'm 53 years old.
I've been doing this since 6 o'clock this morning, too.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, it's the Rastafarians, excuse me.
I live by the message,
hey.
These channel beans.
If
you ever channeling a bean, I would go with what they're saying because they're fucking interdimensional fucking alien beings from other fucking worlds and shit like that. So
why would they lie?
Seems legit. Might as well listen to them, right? And these ones say smoke weed every day. Meet.
Elmo.
Silly Webbit.
They're all there. Like, oh my goodness.
Fucking Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Channeling them.
Yeah. They're all there.
I'm not channeling any cartoons. I channel Alex Jones when I get this high. And the globalists will not win.
Alex Jones.
They're coming to eat your children.
He used to be normal.
I can't even believe I'm doing that.
He used to be normal.
Semi-normal.
Yeah, remember he kind of was like... all
Yeah,
right.
he had a modicum of sanity and truth in the beginning. He's always been kind of
And then he
hyperbole.
lied to us. But he lied to us again. He went on Joe Rogan. He was all passive. And you're like, okay, maybe he's going to tone it down. Then he got back the next day. This was... Fuck what I said yesterday.
War, Rogan. War.
He changed because he had to. If he kept going the way with what he was and the way he was in the beginning, he wouldn't sell and wouldn't have all his fans and everybody. So he had to be like, woo woo fuckery, here we come.
Malcolm X hats.
I know, he said cross colors.
Crisscross. Jump, jump. Do I remember that? Yeah, I'm almost 50. I remember that. And then
Our nation is going to be brought to its knees. We'll be sucking the cocks of the globalists for the next 30 goddamn years.
Well, I'm glad
Don't suck the cock of the globalists.
Fucking all
I
this
just wanted to say that. That just kind of hit me, Jill.
Yeah, he just had to. He knows what he's saying is fucking bullshit and stuff. He's like, where the fuck am I gonna go? He got to that point. He's like, you get to that point where you're either like, okay, I can keep fucking spewing off this fucking bullshit and fucking get crazier and crazier and make fucking shit ton of money and have all these fucking fans loving me, or I can do the right thing and just keep going with my fucking trying to put out the truth and everything like that, whether it's gonna crush somebody's hopes and fucking dreams and beliefs or not, and do that, you know? Sorry if I'm crushing your hopes and dreams and fucking beliefs or whatever, but truth hurts. I'm not gonna get up here and shucking and jiving and do a little fucking song and dance and everything for everybody just to fucking.
Are you sure?
Pull the globalist cock out of your throat and wake up, America.
I've written stories. I've wrote stories before. I could write stories and all kinds. And we could come on here. And we could come up with the wildest, craziest.
Y'all want me to start the church of Jiggy?
We could.
I go old school. I got in trouble when I was cleaning the church for doing
all over
shit.
the fucking place for everybody.
Will
but
the choir
I'm not
sing
gonna do
Get
that.
Jiggy with it?
I can't
They
do
could.
that.
I'll make a nice little fucking gospel version of it. You can get jiggy with it, with the Lord. I can make a nice gospel version of that. That's easy.
Get jiggy
I grew
with
up singing in the
Jesus.
choir. That's why I learned how to sing. Was in the choir and shit. I told you I did all the religious stuff. This just sounds like religion. Looks like walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. I'm good. I can go. So we can sell you the same bullshit. Y'all want the same bullshit? No, I don't think you do. You
It's
wouldn't be
globalist
here.
cock.
I don't want globalists. I'm not worried about dark alliances, dark force. Yes, there's some bad people out there, but there's also some good people out there. But
There's
these
way
people,
more good than there is bad. So.
But all that shit in between, you better look at yourself and look at what you are as a human being, your time here on this planet. And if you want to waste it worried about anything, anybody, anything coming down to save you, I don't see it happening. If they do, cool, I guess. What are they going to save us from? And how do you know that if these aliens do show up, they aren't cool?
People have been thinking they've been saved, gonna get saved by something
Forever.
For fucking thousands of years.
They were sacrificing
The only people who are right. The only people who are right were the
cutting
people
off
like the
people's
sun's
heads.
gonna save me when it fucking comes up tomorrow.
Killing babies. Remember that shit too? Remember they used to sacrifice babies and shit to please gods and everything? Y'all forget about that shit, don't you? They've been doing that shit forever.
Those same people that are all like, oh, fuck that church that burned down and shit. Those fucking Europeans
Oh, but wait a
stole
minute,
my
too.
fucking stole all our shit and stole
wait a
our
minute, but
land
that's
and
part of
everything
Q,
and everything. And
you
I'm like,
know, the pedophiles
I'm like,
and
well, wait
everything.
a second.
It's
So
new. It's
So
all
your
new shit.
ancestors were fucking perfect angels and they never slaughtered and killed anybody and stole their land?
Huh?
There was never no tribal
What?
wars?
Huh?
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute.
I've
And the
never heard
first-
of these people before.
And like the Egyptians and all these different cultures that had slaves and all this crazy shit and all these different cultures everywhere who have
Everywhere,
waged
all
war
slaves,
against other
they're all
cultures.
perfect and
We're all fucked up. All of us. But guess what? We can get right. If y'all think
But
you're going to
your
get
group's
right waiting
perfect
for
and this
aliens,
group's fucking bad,
good
and
luck.
this group's perfect and that group's bad, and
Good luck
everybody's
waiting for
this
the
and
aliens.
everybody's that, and everybody's
Waiting
like,
on saviors from
and I'm like, hold
space.
on, where's the fucking truth in all this bullshit? That's me.
The train's coming in with the good stuff, right?
Then they got the people that are like, hold on, they're like, I got the truth, let me shine my little light, and they got a little tea candle in their hand. They're like, careful, it's the truth. I'm gonna shine my light on the bullshit over here.
Keep following.
Just look at. And then I come in on a fucking dragon and I just fucking light the fucking shit up, the whole fucking city, and I just fucking burn it to the ground. All that shit. I'm like, that's how you fucking shed the light on the truth.
Yeah.
You know, you're walking around with a candle like, I can only show you this, all this darkness is there. Like, look at the truth. It's right here. Look at, you see it? Shining my little candle, and I'm like, hold on a second, let me get my candle, and I'm like,
it's a fancy truth.
You see all this fucking truth over here?
It's fancy.
I'm gonna get my dragon out. We're getting Game of Thrones up in here.
You guys really don't want because if you really understood, then you guys would fucking go in. And then if I told you about my outsiders and the information that I have in this guy, and then what's it told me, and you still follow them, huh? A whole lot of insiders.
Zeta Rectility.
What'd you say?
He said we're going to Zeta Rectility.
No, yeah. Yep, it's on. We started intergalactic war. That's what's gonna happen. Our rhetoric is just gonna happen. The aliens were gonna piss off the blue Spoovians. That's why they're going to spin it. Like, you know what? Because didn't he say they left? I don't even think they're supposed to be here.
Well, that's
right?
their new thing is they're moving from the blue avians to the triangle beings.
No, I thought it was the Arcturians now.
Well, no, because that's the thing that I'm getting here is because the Arcturians have been around they've been a thing for a long time,
right?
But they're just coming back up in the top.
Right, yeah.
The newest being to come on the scene is the Golden Triangle being. That's the one that's coming up, and that's the new thing that the Corey
I'm pretty sure Peter Gabriel did that when he was with
got his
Genesis.
hands in that shit, and that's the one you got to all look into and look onto this Golden Triangle thing. That's the whole new fucking thing. Watch this fucking.
And the very first alien of that kind was Peter Gabriel during the Genesis years.
But the Guardians, they had to leave. They had to go take it and help some other people. But they're like our friends, the Golden Triangle beings. I'm here to help you guys.
But wait a minute, we're not doing our due diligence because we always forget. We can't be remiss for forgetting about Damon T. Berry. If you don't know Damon T. Berry, you need to go look up Damon T. Berry. And if you can sit through as we did, yeah, he help me. I died. This dude seriously like that. His would be like a Netflix movie. Like I've watched some like kind of whatever Netflix movie. Just sometimes you flip it through Netflix. But actually in the early days too, you just flip on some shit before they had.
Right.
It's just too much on Netflix now. It's like everything you don't want is on Netflix with everything you're trying to find. But it would be a cool movie if he put it out. But oh my goodness, and he's been on Coast to Coast. I think on different other shows and stuff. And this dude, So if you need a CW and all you guys, and even you, if you want someone to look into and take a little stab at, Damon T. Berry.
Yeah,
I'll
good
check
luck.
it out.
Come back, let us know what you
into
think.
that pile of bullshit and see find any truth
decipher
underneath that.
And again, I want to point out
There's a sliver in there.
we watched how many? Was it 8 parts? Right?
Yeah,
was it
all
8
8 parts.
We almost paid for part 8.
And then we found out
we were so interested.
I was like, I got Prime, so I can watch it for free.
ParanormalHooD's on Prime. Paranormal season 1, episode 1's on Prime. But yeah, and then we actually watched all those, and then my man, he just went.
With those ones, he went.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he went. And then you thought, wow, like I don't think this guy can go anymore. And he went woo woo woo.
Yo.
I mean woo woo.
Yo, he
woo,
went Jeffrey
woo,
Osborne
times this
10.
dude's fucking like 10
Can
woos.
you woo woo woo? Can you woo?
And the shit that's coming out of his fucking mouth now,
Man.
I mean,
amazing.
I didn't think you could fucking
Amazing.
shit out your mouth that
should
much.
get there should be like Academy Awards. Like if you could do some awards.
No,
for,
we
like,
should
the
do that. The
craziest-
bullshit awards.
I know,
We'll
but
have to
for
do
what?
that. We'll have to get everybody.
I wouldn't want
together.
to do
We'll
it
have
unless
to
I
do
could
a fucking-
legitimately make an award that I could one day give them or
Oh, I'll
send them.
fucking
Then
mail
they would
it to
actually.
'em. They got fan mailing fucking things and shit. I'll get it to them some fucking how. We'll fucking mail it to them. I'll fucking send
No,
them
but
an
bullshit
email.
awards is not really that. It's gotta be. We'll have to think on that. I want it to be.
fucking
It would
something
actually have to
more
be a
thought.
brown bag with actual bullshit
No,
in
see,
it.
no.
And you hand it to them.
No, see, you think there's no need for that. No, I'm
Oh.
not. First of all, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
That's nasty.
You're right.
Nasty. They're nasty. You don't do that. You don't
Unless
do
you
that.
grow mushrooms.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're about peace and love.
Oh, that's okay.
See, I'm not confrontational. You know, I don't need to have a confrontation with somebody. You want to have a conversation? Cool. You want to do it on our platform? Cool. If you have a platform, maybe they have, and they want us to come on and we can smoke our weed as we're doing right now and talk. That's fine. We can use a little profanity and people won't be all sensitive because we talk. Maybe we can even tone it down a little because I've been on terrestrial radio. You know, that's not really. And actually, we'll be on terrestrial radio again this summer. But I understand that. Unfortunately, I don't really get that either. Terrestrial radio, because I know we got to end soon, is so far behind every other medium at this point.
Yeah, and
it's not because of the profanity. It's just because of this. There's still like these rules that they have. That's like from the fucking 60s. It's just so antiquated. I don't get it. And it's like these kids aren't turning to radio because they wanted to tone down. Even in the car, like you're bleeping some shit out. You don't think because you bleep shit, fuck, bitch, ho. You think these, in half the time, nigger and all this other type of stuff, they don't even bleep out.
Right.
So what's the point at this point? And that's where terrestrial radio. Boom. Good luck. Because you guys are another one. That's why your audience, when it comes to the paranormal, whatever it is like, okay.
Write the FCC a letter.
Who? No, I'm good. I'm not Howard Stern. I don't have time. Baba Booey. I'm good. But, folks, the last blunt's been smoked. Natasha.
That's it.
Are you high?
I am high. I am
You're
really
high?
fucking
No, I said
high.
high with an H.
High
Oh,
with a
first I
capital
said
H.
I. Yeah, I high? Hi. She high. Yeah, motherfucker. But it's been fun. Thank you for stepping into the garden.
Oh,
Smoke
thank
with
you.
us.
It's been an
Great
honor to be here.
conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody who tuned
Thanks
in
for
to
watching.
see Natasha, all her folks. I hope if you are new and you're a fan that you subscribe. We're here every Thursday night. You never know what pop on, other content.
Yes,
There's
turn on the notifications. so
Sherry.
you pop on.
Paranormal Hood Season 1, Episode 1 is available on Amazon Prime. If you're a Prime subscriber anyways, because most motherfuckers are, you're getting your packages every other day. You can go watch Season 1, Episode 1. It is the Bridgewater Triangle out in the Freetown Forest area, and we do some investigating. Episode 2 is coming soon. Natasha again. We'll be at Contact in the Desert, hanging out. Not speaking there. Sorry. We'll be speaking, chilling, smoking, having fun. I think Ben Hans will be there. I wonder if he's going to do that experience too. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Night vision. See? Some cool stuff. So, until next week, tell a friend, be a friend. We're also on all social media. Natasha, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Mysterious Forces Live, on Twitter at My Forces Live, Facebook, Mysterious Forces Live as a group, and I have a personal page that's Natasha NYXX on Facebook. If you want to hit me up there, you're welcome to do that as well. But the main thing is my YouTube channel, Mysterious Forces Live.
Yo, I got on MySpace.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't even understand MySpace. It's not even usable. I don't even fucking stand it. It's nothing. It's completely not what it was.
Thank you for watching.
That was it. MySpace. I tried, folks.
Thank
I was
you
going
for
to see if I
being
could make a
here,
MySpace page for Paranormal Hood, but I don't know if that would even be worth doing.
Show them some love.
Follow Mysterious Forces. Again, peace and love, folks. We out.